What is going on, everybody? It is episode 495 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Happy Friday. As usual, we have a special guest on the show with us today. It's Alex Clark.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Happy to be here in Maryland / West Virginia / Virginia / D. I don't even know where I am.
We don't either.
It's the DMV, or it's the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area.
Yeah, happy to be here. And, you know.
All the way from Scottsdale, Arizona.
All the way from Scottsdale.
All the way from the desert.
We're void of fall, but there's fall here.
And I was thinking about it. I was saying, like, look, there's all these companies in conservative media. Say what you will about that, but you've got, what, PragerU's out in California.
We're already calling them out.
Yes, the Daily Wire's out in Nashville. Turning Point is out there in Arizona.
Yeah, in Phoenix.
How the hell did we get stuck in the cold out here in Maryland? It's not even cold. I'm from Minnesota, so it's not even really cold, but still, it's not Arizona or California.
We're out in the boonies.
Yeah. To be fair, like this weather out here, because like Minnesota's like very, very cold, like January, February. So out here it gets down to like the 20s and 30s, which for me is perfect because I'm used to so much colder. But I'd be fine with 60s and 70s and 80s. I'd be okay with that.
Well, you say that till it's 120 in July.
Oh yeah, I don't want the summers. I don't want the Arizona summers at all. No.
Hotter than Satan's bunghole, I say.
Why don't you tell? Why don't you tell it? Why don't you tell everyone what it is you do?
All right, so I host the Spillover podcast with Turning Point USA. Ooh! I interview interesting people with fascinating stories and expertise every Friday. And it could be anyone, someone that survived a serial killer to like a water scientist, anything.
I watched this video the other day. Like YouTube Shorts will send me YouTube Shorts and Instagram stories will send me down these crazy rabbit holes about this family that went disappearing, that disappeared from this house in like 2009, the Jameson family, and the house is just empty. Like there's security camera footage of them packing up, looking like zombies and leaving. Then they found their bodies like 4 months later, not that far from where their car was abandoned, and they never found out what happened to them or anything like that. But it's crazy because like you can, like the house is abandoned, but you go in there and like all the kids, like they had a child, all the stuff is still there, but it's all run down. Ooh. Yeah, like you should go look into that story.
I do have to look into that. Kind of reminds me of John List. The murders of the John List family. Have you ever heard of that? No. This guy, he was a family annihilator, killed his entire family, left them in the house, and he fled. Nobody found them for like months, I feel like. And then when they showed up at the house, they were all covered in blankets, like laying in the living room floor, but like he had classical music playing and candles lit in every window or something. It was very creepy.
Very creepy. Mary's like, I don't like it. Guys, before we get started, I want to
What a cheery note to begin the show.
It is. We're off to a fantastic start here tone-wise. It's gonna be a tone. Actually, given the topics today, the tone is gonna be all over the place, but we will do our very best to manage that so I don't get like clipped smiling while I say something awful. So guys, before we get started, I want to thank each and every one of you. We just passed 75,000 subscribers right here on YouTube, so thank you so much.
Thank you guys
for that, guys. It's an honor. It's an honor and a pleasure.
It's not good enough. Get us to 100K. Stat.
That's huge. It's coming around the corner.
Yes. So it's an honor and a pleasure to create entertainment for all of you. But we got a bunch of stuff to get into today. But before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video? Would you subscribe to this channel if you are not one of those 75,000 subscribers who have already joined us? Hit the like button, turn the notification bell on so that you can be notified anytime a new episode, a new segment, or a new short goes up. Also, please remember that all Super Chats, $20 and over, we will interrupt the discussion. You will shoot money right at Alex as she saw
That's
earlier.
What's happening? This is the Super Chats?
Yes. So if you want to scare her, you can go ahead and do that. Every time a Super Chat comes through,
it's going to scare her.
It's going to keep happening. All Super Chats, $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read that Super Chat right then and there, and then when we get done, we'll get right back on topic. And of course, we read all Super Chats by the end of the show. So if you ladies are ready, we can just go ahead and get started because this intro is chaotic. Mary, are you ready?
About as I'll ever be. Yeah.
Alex, are you ready?
Born ready.
They're both ready. All right, let's go ahead and get started, ladies and gentlemen. First things first, I do want to do a quick update on what's going on at Marvel. I've got one here to mention, which is that Captain America 4 looks like it's going to be in peril because test audiences reportedly acted very, very upset over an extremely preachy or political sequence that was done. So a lot of movies do these test screenings where they look and see how audiences respond to them. I've never gotten asked to be in a test screening.
I'm waiting.
I'm waiting.
How do you
for
get
that.
asked? Like, how do they know?
I've never been polled about presidential candidates either.
It's kind of like Nielsen ratings. Like you have to,
Yes.
well, maybe no, because Nielsen, I think you have to sign up for like a Nielsen box, or they like you get like your family home would have a Nielsen box, and that's how they got those ratings for that. But this says that this was according to a podcast called The Hot Mic with Jeff Snyder, and they're basically saying that it's now going to get a bunch of reshoots because of these negative test scores, in which they said that a sequence in the middle of the film got really, really heavily political, which, as we know, did happen during Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
It tackles immigration, terrorism, and Black Lives Matter.
Oh, great.
There is a $100
It's
super
a
chat.
Marvel movie.
There's a $100 super chat here from Granticus.
Oh.
Says, congratulations on 75K. I hope you guys ate living the dream. Ate living the dream. Did we eat?
Are living the dream.
But it's a T.
It's
Okay.
misspelled. We'll give you grace. You gave us such a big super chat.
Yesterday, I was made fun of by Phil because sometimes I like this name small. I go,
Thank you for super chatting bigly. We really appreciate
Wow.
it.
huge.
We bigly
huge.
appreciate your big super chat.
So thank you for that. Yes, we are living the dream for the most part. Like I actually think about this sometimes because it's like there are days, like not every day is perfect. You don't wake up every day excited to go to work, but for the most part, I do. Like I think about it and I'm like I could be doing like I've had a ton of jobs in my lifetime. I managed a gas station. I did maintenance and like at an apartment complex, and I didn't hate those jobs, but it didn't mean I liked getting up for work every day.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you something. My first job was a hostess at a dinner theater. And the manager that I had sharded
Sorry.
while we are standing there as guests are coming in and we're taking them to their tables to sit down to have a nice dinner and a show. My boss says, "Excuse me, I have to go home. I just sharded."
He actually said that out loud. He could have just
It was a
left.
woman.
Was this your first day?
It wasn't my first day. It was a few
Okay.
months in, but that was very interesting,
Great.
and I will never forget that.
She's
So
the
that was my
boss.
first job.
She's the boss. She could have
Literally
just
the
said,
boss.
"I'm going home for a bit," and not
Could have said anything. No, she literally told us. But she was known for farting there at the hostess stand. She was known for it. And this time she gambled and she lost.
Not
Yeah.
good, man. Not good. My first
Yikes.
job was I brought carts back. I was a cart pusher at a grocery store. I still to this day, if I'm going out to like my car and I see a loose cart, I pull it in just because I feel bad for
There's
the
a
guy.
running joke on this show that Mary never returns her car.
I wasn't gonna bring it
I'm
up.
a bad guy.
That's a huge debate on Twitter on
Yeah.
if mothers should be expected while their kids are with them to return their carts or not at grocery stores.
No one should, but definitely not them.
No one.
If you value,
I don't value order in
your
society
car,
anymore.
If you
I'm the
value
Joker.
your car not getting hit by a loose cart, then you should bring it
Every
back.
time I don't return my cart, I'm like, I'm the Joker.
Also,
from the movie.
I don't like
Joker.
the argument when they're like, "We're keeping the cart pusher employed." I'm like, he has to push it even if it's in the
True.
corral.
I mean, he's got to have something to do.
But he has to push it either way, whether it's in the corral or not. The only person you're hurting is the loose cars that get hit or the parking spots that get taken up.
I put mine in the little corral thing.
Thank you.
Unless I'm scared and it's at night.
Yeah, I'm usually scared at night.
Oh, this just sounds like excuses. What are the hell are the lights for in the parking lot, ladies?
Never know.
Come on.
Never know.
We got a $20 super chat from Phil that remains.
Hello.
Hello, Phil. Says, "What the hell did I walk into?"
You don't even know yet.
We're getting into it right now.
We're just getting started,
We're getting into it
Phil.
now. And also, if you remember yesterday, guys.
We're just getting sharded.
Oh, thank you for that. Yesterday, we did a segment in which we talked about an actor named Michael Rappaport who did a thing where he talked about how he lost a job. He lost out on an acting gig because he hates Donald Trump. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is called a crisis party.
Why is this episode already insane.
I feel like this is like deep fried memes personified.
We're not even at the deep fried memes yet. I've got plenty of memes for today. Have no fear. But Michael Rappaport says that he lost a job in Hollywood because he hates Donald Trump, which would make him maybe the only person in Hollywood who lost work because he hated Donald Trump rather than gained work because he hated Donald Trump.
But now he's flirting with the idea of voting for Trump in 2024.
Yeah, he's saying it's on the table because of what's going on in Israel and Palestine right now. Let's watch the video.
This guy thinks he's so much funnier than he is.
I know his sense of humor is not good. But we've got two videos here. We'll watch the first one here.
If it comes down to Pig Dick Donald Trump and Smoking Joe Biden, I'm sorry. I am sorry. Voting for Pig Dick Donald Trump is on the table. I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry. I'll still call him Slob Dick Donald Trump, Pig Dick Donald Trump, and all that. But we need to get this whole fucking situation under control. If it comes down to...
He got to get it under control. He's talking about Israel and Palestine. But he's got another video where he keeps going.
Really? He doubles down.
Yes, he doubles down. Here we go.
New York City... climb in public in front of crowds of people, rip down UN flags, rip down Israeli flags, rip down American flags on Veterans Day. When the economy is the way the economy is.
What accent is this?
What accent is this? Mortgage rates up the wunk up. I mean, I'm getting forget a colonoscopy. You don't need to get a colonoscopy. Go buy a house.
What? Huh?
The interest rates. Go buy a car. And I know Smoking Joe has done some things for the... I know. But I'm telling you right now,
he did that insulin thing that Trump already did.
Go check what it's like to buy a car. Buy a house. The money. The fucking chaos in this country. The chaos around the world. If it comes down to Pig Dick Donald Trump...
You know what? I'm with you,
Joe Biden,
Michael.
I'm sorry. I am
He's really sorry.
Voting for Pig Dick Donald Trump is on the table.
So it's on the table, ladies and gentlemen. What's funny about this is, like, yesterday, I think we had a discussion with Phil where he said there are no more blue dog Democrats. This might be the last actual
he changed his tune.
Blue dog Democrat of somebody who supposedly cares about America, but hated the fact that Donald Trump seemed to love America. It actually makes no sense to me and shows you how disconnected so many of them are from actual reality, when the things that are going on in this country right now, everyone predicted would happen as soon as the last election happened. They got mad at Trump when he killed Soleimani and these other people, in foreign countries. But Trump was strong on foreign policy, united the Middle East in a lot of ways, although not perfect in a sense, fallen apart. But these actors, you can't expect them to know this type of stuff, and which is why you should never take your political advice from someone who acts for a living. You should not take it from anyone but yourself. Go do your own research on stuff, and certainly don't listen to a guy like this for his views on politics, because he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's just now catching up to the fact that things have gone bad.
Trump is the genius of creating nicknames for people. Pig Dick Donald Trump is not a good one.
Okay, no, it's not a good one because he looks like Piglet.
He does.
Piglet is a man.
I see it.
The ninja from Pop Culture Planet says, "I agree with Phil. Already feels like a fever dream." Well, yes, every time the crisis party goes off, it does feel like a fever dream. We are very close to a second one as well. I think people are just very happy that we hit 75,000 subscribers.
No, they're happy Alex is here.
That is
Conservatives rise.
There you go.
I am very shocked that he said this because I mean, when I think about like celebrities that have TDS the most, he definitely is at the top of the list. I think like Joy Behar coming out next and saying I might have to vote for Trump would be the next like shocking personal line with Michael Rappaport.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Springsteen's like, maybe America isn't so bad nowadays. That would be funny, right?
What about Oprah?
That might never happen. I don't know if that's. I did see another thing that said Cher said she would leave the country. Somebody sent me a link earlier on Twitter that said Taylor Swift, Bruce Springsteen, and some other person, they're going to leave America.
I don't think that's true.
Taylor Swift?
Yeah,
she's never said that.
That's why I didn't include it in the stuff today because
No
I was like,
way.
I can't source that. I saw no evidence that
It's
she
just
said
made
that.
up.
So
It's made up.
But if
Miss
they did-
Americana herself.
But somebody said, they said, would you still cover her if she moved to Canada? And I said, yes, I would. I would just put on a Canadian I would use my
I would just
Minnesota
call her a
accent.
frostback.
Yes, that's our slur. Our slur for Canadians.
Stop.
Frostbacks.
Yeah.
Dirty frostbacks. That's what they are. We love you, Canada. All right, we got more, guys. Did either of you? Do you play video games?
I've never played a video game
Okay.
in my life.
I've got the video game for you to start then.
'Kay.
Here we go. Alex Jones has a video game coming out called New World Order Wars, or NWO Wars.
I'm already obsessed.
Let's watch the trailer for this,
he
shall we?
fights gay frogs
He does.
and Bill Clinton at Little St. James.
Let's watch this. Here we go.
First came Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and Super Mario Brothers. And now the ultimate retro nostalgia throwback game. I present to the world Alex Jones's New World Order Wars. They're turning the friggin' frogs gay. I'll eat your ass.
I'll eat your ass.
Nazi scum. Let's free the Patriots and defeat the globalist tech geeks.
We are going to defeat the globalists very bigly.
This game is mostly peaceful.
Oh, I love this man.
I'm going to lower the world's population. Oh, big deal. I'm taking you down, rapist.
I did not have sexual relations with that saxophone.
Download it now at AlexJonesGame.com, because as we all know, anything badass gets censored.
Is this a fan-made joke?
I
or is
thought-
this,
look-
is this he made this?
When I watched the trailer, I thought maybe they used AI to get the narration, but
Yeah.
it is real. I went to AlexJonesGame.com and it is out for purchase at $17.76.
It costs $17.76.
Yep.
It's honestly unbelievably creative and perfect marketing for his audience.
So good.
It's perfect.
Maybe you should play it. Gamermaids should definitely play
Gamermaid
it.
should. I think that somebody already said that Gamermaids needs to get on it right now.
Yeah.
They need to be playing this
Yeah.
on
Well,
there.
maybe this is the first video game that I should ever play. Like okay, I genuinely have never played anything. Ever. So if I were to sit down in my very first video game, like, would you say it should be this, or would you say no? You gotta go with like Mario Kart. or
I say start with this. Just start with
Start with
something
this.
that actually interests you, and then move on and say. And then maybe you end up liking it a lot, and you end
Right.
up becoming a gamer, and then your channel just becomes a gamer channel.
Maybe
You
maybe
should
I'll
play
be a
this on your
streamer.
channel.
Maybe
It'd
that's
be
what
so
I should
good.
do, because this is just so weird.
It's
I love
awesome.
it.
But I was hoping he was going to say something about eating his neighbor's ass or whatever. So I'm glad that was included.
You wonder where they get these sound bites.
It looks fantastic. It looks like $1 million to me, and then the comments are incredible. Like if you go, in fact, I'm not going to scroll down. Who knows what the hell's going to end up in the comment section? But it looks really, really good. So I recommend everyone go out there and check it out. That was Niche Gamer on Twitter where I found that. So I was very excited by that.
I love the gay frogs.
When is it coming out?
Look, you can buy it now. So
Oh.
it looks like you can buy it now.
It's out already.
It's weird how strong of an opinion so many people have on Alex Jones. Like people I didn't even know knew who he was. Just have these really, really strong feelings about.
I don't
Alex
understand
Jones.
how it's possible to hate that man. Everything about him is lovable, in my opinion. He's just someone I can't ever hate.
No, I like him. I mean, he's somebody like, okay, if you are building your dream dinner party,
Oh, he's there.
he's there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I always think about that when people talk about like who's your favorite celebrities and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't even necessarily have to agree, but I want to build like the most insane dinner party. Like who's going to argue, you know, who's going to fight, who's going to like say the most wild things, and like he's included.
Yes.
And then, you know, who would you want to go against him? Like who would really set him off? Because then that's who else you would want to have in
You'd
there.
have Bill Gates there.
Yeah, you could have Bill Gates.
You'd have Bill Gates and Alex Jones
That would be
sitting next to
perfect.
each other.
Ghislaine, maybe.
Yeah, she could be there. That'd be fantastic. I would go to watch that. Somebody should actually do that. They should somebody should have a podcast. It's actually set up with like boom mics rather than service mics, and it's just a dinner. It's just called like Thanksgiving dinner, and it's just all of just the worst people to have next to each other. So they're sitting on one side of each other. Trump and Oprah.
By the end,
Yes.
they have to be throwing cranberry sauce and mashed potatoes.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It ends in a food fight every episode.
Yes.
But it kind of becomes like reality TV where like the producers are like, hey, remember when she said this about you?
Yeah.
And then, you set them off. We got $20 super chat here from Nick Ray, says, got into this podcast because of, he retracted it. I can't read it now.
What?
I'll see it when it goes through on this end, but I guess if you don't want us
if you
to
don't want
read
it read, that's,
never
you
mind.
retracted the message, so I apologize, buddy. I can't read it because you retracted it, so I apologize. All right, I want to know your feelings on this. We saved this one for Friday. Did you see this story about the fashion model who walked down a runway at her friend's funeral?
No, I have not seen
Okay.
it.
But when you see the clip, you're like, way to make someone's funeral all about you. But it turns out that this was the funeral of a gay fashion designer.
And, it was and he had three separate funeral visitations, like wakes type. Like,
So this is maybe like they planned this in advance. Like, this is what I want you to do one day.
But your initial reaction is definitely always when you see something like this is like, why does everything have to be about the person who's not there? As long as they got consent from the family and the family was okay with it.
We've covered a crazy funeral story before, a crazy wake held in a nightclub where, it was a rapper. They embalmed his body, dressed him up, put sunglasses on him, and literally Weekend at Bernie's style propped him up at a nightclub.
On the bar.
And did he get any
partied.
dances like on him?
Oh, I hope not.
I don't think that happened, but he definitely was like being moved around and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
it was weird.
Let's watch the video.
I guess nothing is off limits.
It's only acceptable at a gay funeral. Like, this would never fly anywhere else.
Yeah.
Only for the gays.
If look, a lot of people make the jokes, and even I've made the jokes. Like, look, when I die, I'm not going to really care what you like. Some people say I don't want anyone to mourn for me, right? Other people are like, no,
absolutely freaking not. And I also don't understand people that say like, if I'm married and I die, my spouse, like I want them to remarry. Yeah. I'm like, no, absolutely not. I'm gonna become a ghost and I'm gonna haunt your ass, and you're not remarrying. You're not moving on from me, and really? I'm gonna be offended if my best friends and people close to me aren't like climbing into my casket because they're like, they don't want to let me go. Everybody better be devastated, and if they're not, if it's anything less, then what have I been here for?
There you go.
I appreciate your fervor.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't feel the same way.
How do you feel?
Like, if I died young, I wouldn't have a problem with my spouse remarrying. But maybe that's just like...
You wouldn't be jealous?
Well, I'm dead. I don't need him anymore. Right?
I need everybody to put everything
I guess
on hold
that's just
for me.
like my Catholic beliefs coming out. Like, that's not, it's morally permissible to remarry after your spouse dies.
Yeah.
Just because, well, I guess back in the day, people needed to be married anyway, like especially widows needed a spouse.
I mean, I'm allowed to remarry. He's just not.
Oh, okay. It doesn't go both ways. It doesn't go both ways.
Okay. All right, guys. I've also got, so the other day, I went down a rabbit hole. It's cursed deepfakes.
So good.
I sent all of these to Mary in quick succession, so get ready, ladies and gentlemen. I found about 15 of them. I whittled it down to like 6 or 7. But
the highlights.
Let's go ahead and watch these, shall we? This is Barack Obama Ice Spice. Shall we?
Be like, oh, she had one hair one day, da da da. But it's like, now what? 2 hair one day? Like, the fuck?
Don't worry, I have more.
Doja
would say,
Obama.
see a fun butt. I always had a big butt. I can see mine from the front. Like at certain moments, like I'll be in the mirror, I'll be like, it's pretty cute in my opinion. But thing is like, it's like a peekaboo to like what's next. So like once you see it from the front, like that's all cool. But like wait till you see it like, from the back. because that's when it gets crazy.
That's when it gets crazy.
It says this comment, user 903002 says, stop disrespecting him right now.
Oh, bummer.
Someone said it's just Tyler, the creator.
And here is,
My grandma would see this on Fox News and think it's real.
here we go.
Hot Ones. It's the show with hot questions and even hotter wings. Today we're joined by Doja Obama. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
What's going through your head as you prepare to take on the Hot Ones gauntlet? Are you at all nervous going into this?
No, not really. I'm kind of can I curse?
Yeah, let it fly.
I'm kind of a pussy, but I'm not like, I don't know. I'll do it to myself one time.
Not this.
You're watching Hot Ones.
Oh, yeah. I felt like I was going insane as I was finding more of these.
I absolutely love this. Like, this is AI at its best.
Yes. Well, if the world's going to be destroyed with misinformation, disinformation, in general, like a technocracy, I'm fine with this.
I want to
This
see
is
the
okay.
Kim Jong-un edits.
Here we go.
Do those exist yet?
Feeling you, then for munch. Either he ate it for lunch or someone better I go on one leg. I would define munch as like just a eater or somebody that's like obsessed with you, or it could be a hater. Either way, they still obsessed with you. A eater is just some.
This is my State of the Union.
Yes. And here we'll do
This one's good.
We'll do these. We'll do both of these last two.
I've been with a gangster, but
They squares.
not squares. But I like
It's just a regular guy.
good boys and girls. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I never been.
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, why do female rappers all have to have a sound that they make?
All
Like,
of them.
Cardi B has "ow," and then Megan Thee Stallion has and
Yes.
then Ice Spice has "da da da." Like,
But do you think that the producers like work with them? Like, so what is going to be your sound?
you need to have a thing that you do.
Yeah.
But like the male rappers don't.
Master P had make him say he absolutely did, but that was back in the late 90s. So
Yeah.
just
okay,
saying.
we have Obama the Stallion.
Yep, here we go. One more.
Love to throw my ass. I love to shake my ass. That's like one of my favorite things to do. And I be seeing motherfuckers be like, oh man, all you do is shake your ass. No, you're like, damn. Actually, I go to school and I rap, and sometimes I be cooking. I'm a dog mom, but
Eyelashes.
awesome friend. Like, it's not all I be doing. It's just that maybe when you log me in, you came to see me twerk because you ain't see that free satellite job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love to throw.
Someone said Obama is going to have whoever is making these whacked.
I would have respected him more as a president if this is what he would have been like the whole time.
Exactly. Well, he did have that cringy like songs of the year or songs of the summer list that he used to do,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, well, he still does that.
Does he?
Yeah.
And then didn't some artists this year say like,
Yes.
I don't even know.
it was
You?
Boy Genius.
Yeah.
Like tried to own him for being a war criminal on Twitter.
And the
Yeah, that was
libertarians were like based.
But like, I'm sorry, I don't believe that Obama listens to Boy Genius.
No, he doesn't.
stop.
It's some intern.
Obama doesn't listen to Girl in Red.
No.
It's not a thing.
What would you like to see? We've also got cute and cringe of the day. What would you like to see?
Because
first?
that wasn't
Cute?
cringe of the day.
That was not
That
cringe. That
wasn't?
was not cringe
Nope.
of the day.
Okay, let's do
that.
cringe.
Was just like, look, I went down a rabbit hole and felt like I came out the other side worse as a person.
So we all have
you
to be
all
dragged
have to
down
be
with
worse
you.
as a
Okay.
person with me. Yeah. Cringe or cute of the day, Alex?
Cringe.
Cringe first. All right, good choice. I like it when we do the cringe first. All right, here we go.
This is girls getting tattooed freckles on their face. Look at this.
We can't do audio because it's copyrighted.
That
music.
doesn't look like freckles. That looks like a disease.
Acne.
That looks like monkeypox.
This is so stupid.
I get that like they go down after, like they aren't going to be red the whole time that you have them. But why? Why is this a thing?
Just don't tattoo your face at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone can tell that they're fake as well. Like if you have freckles, then you would have them all over your body. And you
Now it just
probably
looks
would
like a
be
rash
like
on your face.
fair skinned and like a redhead too.
This is so
That doesn't
horrific.
look natural at all.
Yep.
I'm definitely
Man-made horrors
cringing.
beyond your
We
comprehension.
talked about this tattoo influencer that faked having a face tattoo of her boyfriend's name.
Oh, the Kevin girl?
Yeah, the
Okay, so
Kevin
that
girl.
was fake?
Yes,
Thank
she
God.
revealed it was fake, but the reason she did it is to do like a PSA, like young people don't get tattoos, you might regret them, because like I regret my tattoos.
What are your tattoos of that you regret?
Oh no, not me. I don't
Oh.
have any tattoos, but that was her like reason for doing the viral moment was to tell young people not to get tattoos.
Right. Yeah, I have no tattoos for that exact reason.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and do Q to the day. We got a couple. We'll do a couple here. The first one here, this is from the Half-Baked Treehouse. Says, this is Feather Monster, silky too smooth. She has been in Chicktopia before the return of Ghostface, but that's a story for a different time. Not only adorable, but she makes the most delicious. I'm not reading that last part.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's me.
There you go.
Cute. We have a PCC pets, so people send in photos of their
Everyone
pets.
loves to share their pets.
There's chickens here. There's chickens.
Yes, there
Do they
is.
know that about you guys?
There is a $20 super chat here from Nick
Oh,
Ray.
it's the one he retracted.
Says got into this because of Mary on whatever. Kudos to her standing up for her principles on sex and marriage. Keep up the good work, guys. First time checking you out live as well. It's a riot already. Looking forward to more. Yes, it's always
you for
more fun.
joining us.
It's always more fun to watch live. I feel
Yeah.
like you never know what's going to happen. All right, let's do what.
Still
Scared
scares
me
you.
again.
You'll get a little, like, me and Mary are so desensitized to it now. Like, there'll be explosions. And I'll be like, and that was when the guy said this, and this. All right. Let's do one more here. Here we go. This is from Nick. Says, this is Minabella, and two of her feather babies. Minna is a repeat serial chicken killer, but loves all kinds of babies regardless.
Serial killer.
Wait, you are allowing your dog around the birds after killing them?
Well, let's hope that that's not actually
Chicken nuggets.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Now that we are 32 minutes into the show, ladies and gentlemen.
That's good timing.
That's good timing. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about you. And, let's wait.
In a moment, we'll talk about you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys so much. Again, that is the second crisis party. We are up to 2. You can see it on the top. And by the way, speaking of chickens, that sound you hear is Ian from Timcast IRL doing his impersonation of Roberto Jr., a chicken.
Do you know that during the Waco siege, part of the way they were trying to get the Branch Davidians out was playing like a bunch of noise all night long?
This is what that is.
That's what that is, I
yeah,
think.
this is mental torture.
Yeah.
I can give you an idea of when it's worse. It's if you don't have your headphones on. It's way worse if you don't have your headphones. Yeah, because your headphones are actually muffling it because it's coming from that speaker right there. So just saying.
All right.
Now that we have gotten through the second crisis party, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and talk about you and let's talk about your career. Because we were discussing this a while ago. We were talking about the fact that you really were a pioneer when it came to talking about pop culture in conservative spaces.
Thank you.
You, Politics started when?
2019. October of 2019 was the first episode.
How the heck did it take conservative media that long until 2019 to realize that it's important to talk about pop culture and celebrities?
Because everybody's like so highbrow, they all think they're better than it. So when I first launched Politics and the first like promo videos came out and stuff, all of these people in the conservative movement were roasting me. They were like, this is so retarded, like this is so embarrassing, and why would we do this? This is not conservative, you know. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I knew there was a huge market for young women that wanted to talk pop culture. And because my friends and I, like, we're conservative, but we still care about talking about, like, you know, Taylor Swift news or Selena Gomez or whatever. So I was like, well, that there is a market for that. I don't understand why we're just giving this whole sphere over to the left, because TMZ, People, E! News, all of these outlets all report pop culture news through a left-wing purity filter. Like, I remember, I think it was 2019, that's when Miley Cyrus was licking the abortion is healthcare cake and all that. And every outlet covered it favorably. Like, the only people that were not covering it favorably were, you know, like Ben Shapiro or whatever roasting her. But that's the thing, is like, he's not a fan of her also criticizing her. So I think it hits different. Whereas, like, I like Miley Cyrus. I enjoy Miley Cyrus, but like, I'm going to be critical of that. So it was just, I was like, why is there no one on the right that I trust to cover this, that shares my thoughts?
That answers my next question, which was, do you believe that conservatives underestimate the power of pop culture for society?
Of course, yes.
What's scary to me about it is they understand that culture matters, culture beyond just policy.
No, they say it. They don't actually believe it.
Yeah.
It's lip service.
But a lot of times, like, it's very few of the discussions you end up having in these spaces are very rarely about policy. A lot of it ends up becoming about social issues, which are even closer to pop culture than actual politics are. right? Like you end up, it's a very short walk from talking about Miley Cyrus and talking about abortion and an abortion cake to talking about some government, some state government talking about abortion laws in their state. And they wonder where the public support comes from it. It comes from the people in the pop culture space, the musicians, the actors, the movies that push these narratives.
Yeah, but see, the conservative right doesn't understand that a lot of times those issues that you're talking about, those are the things that young people are not going to click on. They don't care. They're not going to click on a video about that. But what they will click on a video about is about, Kylie Jenner and Timothy Chalamet. And so you talk about politics through that, like use pop culture as your bridge to bring them onto deeper subjects. I mean, I remember when like all the BLM stuff was going on in 2020, that's what I was doing. I would report on what some celebrity said about it to then get into the, to the deeper aspect of like, who is Black Lives Matter as an organization? Why are they so corrupt? No, they would have like not clicked on that otherwise. But I always start conversations by, throw the celebrities under the bridge, get them interested, and then be like, oh, and by the way, here's how I feel about what they said.
That's why we were joking that politics walked so that we could run. Like, without politics existing, I don't think that Pop Culture Crisis, this show, would exist. So kudos to Turning Point, I guess, for giving you the free reign to do that.
Oh, and I mean, Turning Point, they were just so like... I was in pop radio before for almost a decade, and so I was doing morning shows in different markets, but it was getting so contentious behind the scenes as a conservative. I was always getting in trouble for things I would say on the air, and my bosses were like, "You cannot talk about being conservative."
Can you give me an example of one of those times?
Okay, so there's a few juicy things. One is I said I was an NRA member, and a mother who was listening in the car with her kids called the government, the Federal Communications Commission, and said there is a woman who is a danger to society on the air. Children should not be allowed to listen to her, because I had casually mentioned very quickly. It was like 3 seconds. I just said, well, I'm an NRA member and blah, blah, blah. And she said I was a danger to society, which anytime that a radio personality gets reported to the FCC, like your lawyers have to get involved. It's this huge thing to see if you really violated a law on air. It's very like intense and serious. And I was like, okay, well, this is not setting a good precedent for me being conservative. I'm not going to deal with this for the rest of my life.
Was it also a problem behind the scenes, like with the people you worked with?
Yes.
Okay.
So it was a huge problem behind the scenes. One of the biggest last straws for me was my boss had asked me to host a trans girls night.
What?
And all this gay stuff, like people that had transitioned or whatever. It was like a party for them or something. And I said, I absolutely am not doing this. So that was like a huge argument, because we were getting paid, like whoever the company was, hosting this thing, they paid to have radio talent from this radio station host it. So they have a paying advertiser that wants this product, which is me, and I refused to do it. And then my boss asked us to sponsor the Women's March, and that was another thing that I said, I'm not doing this. And they said, well, why? This is about human rights. It's not political. So I pulled up the Women's March official website that showed that they were, for gun control, open borders, abortion rights, all of these. I said, this is clearly political. Everything about the Women's March is political. I refuse to do this. So that was a huge fight. So it was more and more after Trump got elected, the tensions were rising, and it was like before cancel culture was a term, I knew that I would be fired, because I refused to do so many of this stuff. And so at that time, Turning Point reached out to me. They actually DM'd me on Instagram and said, hey, like, we love following you. Keep up the good work as like a young conservative personality online or whatever. And I was like, hey, while I have you here, what do you think about this idea to do a pop culture show from a conservative perspective? And they're like, well, we'll fly you out to Phoenix. You can pitch your idea to Charlie Kirk. So I did. And at the time, Turning Point USA didn't have daily shows. They didn't do any of the stuff like production wise that we do now. And so they liked the idea. I said, I want to call it Poplitics, pop culture, politics meshed together. I want the colors to be pink and orange. I said, I want to call my followers cute conservatives. Like I had this whole vision of really talking to a young female audience. And they were like, well, we'll try it. we'll see if it works. And I had, one shot, and within, the show had been out a few weeks, and like Facebook groups were popping up for it and all this. And I was like, okay, I knew there was an audience for this.
Yeah.
And that's how it was
born. I
born.
like that since then you've also expanded outside of just talking about pop culture too. Like now you're hosting discussions on The Spillover, which is newer than Politics, where you cover things like parenting and birth control and true crime, even other things interest that audience that you've captured too.
Yeah, I think everything I've done has just been the primary goal of entertaining and educating women. Yeah. But doing it and covering topics that the rest of the conservative movement doesn't really, they think they're too highbrow for it.
Yeah, I think you and Allie Beth Stuckey specifically come to mind with like people who've expanded the discussions that they're willing to host.
Oh, yeah.
With a mainly female audience.
I like Allie a lot. Allie, and I talk to Allie out of all the females in the conservative movement. She's like the only one I regularly text and talk to. Like, I get along with her the best, for sure.
Yeah.
I also think it's important because if we are going to talk politics for a minute, is that right now the Republican Party, if you're a conservative and you're voting Republican, they have trouble reaching the female demographic. They did in the last election. They're possibly going to again.
Oh, it's so bad.
They need to continue to grow a female audience beyond just what the left would portray as like women who vote the way their husbands vote. That's their straw man, that the women vote the way their husband votes. We know that that's not true, but we're saying they need to reach people who are more in the middle and don't really know necessarily all of what they believe, but they don't need to allow mainstream press to formulate everyone's opinion on everything. You shouldn't just have to look for people who have a similar mindset to you. You want to look for people who haven't made up their mind yet. And you could offer them a unique perspective before the rest of the world and before the rest of the far left or left-wing media gets their hooks in them with their very, very specific point of view.
Well, they just had that survey or study or whatever that just came out. They conducted it between August and September of this year. They interviewed 1,500 young men and women, and it was 18 to 25 years old or whatever. And did you see that? How all the high school boys were turning conservative and all of the girls graduating were going more left. And Charlie Kirk just had me on his show last week to talk about this, and him and I vehemently disagreed. He was very annoyed with my stance, which was, I think we have to, one, do the reverse of we've been harping on this facts don't care about your feelings, and I said that doesn't work with women. You have to actually care about feelings first, or make them think that you do. So you have to be super compassionate and I understand that you care about this and I do too, and that's why I feel this. You have to start all of your debates that way or they will not listen. He hated that because he's like, well, that's a waste of time. Charlie is very to the point.
Well, it makes sense. He's a man.
Yeah.
He wouldn't think that way.
He doesn't think that way. He's like, this seems like a waste of my time. So you're telling me I have to pretend like I care about stuff I don't care about? I was like, well,
it's what politicians do.
That's true.
I'm saying you have to be able to meet them on the same playing field.
Yeah. I was like, these women are so highly emotional, and the right has been so obsessed with this facts don't care about your feelings, but it only works with young men. It doesn't work with the women.
Women have always been more liberal than men and voted for the Democrat Party more than men, but it's never been the situation where the same age group is going in opposite directions like that. Throughout history, at least in the last century, the young cohort was going left to right mostly together, and I think the internet is what polarized them like that, because the men are going to find the spaces on the internet that cater to them, and the women are going to find the spaces that also cater to them.
Yeah, that's a huge problem.
They're not going to listen to anyone outside of that.
And it's why dating and dating talk has become so contentious with people, because my point that I always make, I say, when you watch these videos now of women complaining about men and men complaining about women, these are conversations you would normally have in your same-sex friend group. Meaning, if you're guys, you're talking with your bros about the things that annoy you about women or the things that bug you in a relationship. Women do the same thing, right? Guys maybe less so. I don't know if guys are sitting there talking about it, but they'll mention something that annoys them, right? But women will actually sit down and vent to each other and complain about these things. The problem is now everyone's seeing these spaces together. So a conversation that was once supposed to be had amongst a close group of friends that you have developed a relationship with is now being seen by everyone and has made everything a more polarized environment. And that's not really good either. I think that what we're learning is that, unfortunately, that contentious media sells. and it's very hard to pull in new people with contentious ideas. Men will be drawn to the idea of facts don't care about your feelings because it's something it works with their brain. That is how my mind works when I'm looking at those types of issues, right? Like, but I get why.
And a very, very small minority of women will resonate with that, but not the majority.
But I also understand the social utility of making an idea palatable to somebody who may not necessarily always see it that way. And a good way to introduce that is to give them other things. There is no, the View exists for a reason. It's for middle-aged wives who stay at home to sit there and be fed propaganda by Joe Behar and Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there is nothing, and that's also partially because the right would take on principle and say, we don't want to necessarily brainwash someone. We want to lead them to the right ideas, what they believe is the right idea.
Yeah.
But you need to reach out.
Yeah.
Well, it's all like the battle of the sexes now. Like that's the whole thing is like the genders at war. That's the new thing. Like we had the race war before.
We're just cycling through.
No, literally like 2020, right? Like that was the whole thing is everything was about race. Now I feel like more than ever. And it probably is all on purpose because of Roe and stuff going into the next election cycle is now it's all like men versus women.
I think a lot of it is also that it's so profitable. That anytime you're talking about these arguments, you're talking about it in one of a couple places. On social media, where it's monetized. On YouTube, where it's monetized, on all of these platforms where you are incentivized to create stuff that's divisive to make money. So whether it's actually like that in the real world, I think it is to an extent. But I think as long as you're living digitally, it's always going to look worse than it could possibly be because it's just so financially beneficial to do so.
Since you touched on dating, let me just steer the conversation in a little bit of a different direction. Because before you walked in today, I was getting extremely invested in a reality show that you were on back in 2016 called Coupled on Fox.
Yes.
And it only lasted for one season, but you were on that season. And look, I was rooting for you. I want to hear about your experience. Like, how did you end up on that show? What was your takeaway from it? You were the youngest person on it as well. I feel like you were kind of singled out for that reason.
Oh, yeah.
What was that like?
I remember like doing that show. There was a girl from New York City and I was so young and naive and just had barely been in the real world at that time. And there was a girl on the show that like lived in Manhattan. I was like, wow, you live in New York City? Like I was so Indiana because that's where I'm from.
And let me guess, the producers loved that.
Oh, loved it. So I got the most camera time out of anybody because I was just so weird, bizarre. Also, they actually casted me, I think, thinking I was going to be the villain because it was like my character on the show was the Republican girl.
Oh,
so the producers and everybody, they were told like make Alex the villain, but everybody liked me so for the most part. So it didn't end up really working, but I ended up getting the most screen time, which was really fun. And it was like, yeah, nobody really knows at this point that I did a reality show, but I did this show. And I mean, my experience was great. It was a once in a lifetime thing. I had no access to the outside world for over 5 weeks. So no phone, never called home, no books, no music, no news.
They torture people for that. That's torture in some places.
Yeah, we've been talking about these reality show stars that come back from it and say like I was being tortured. They were feeding us alcohol and trying to.
That's like the experience. I don't know. I enjoy it. Like I don't know that I would do a reality show again, but I'm so glad I did it to understand like what that's like. It's such a cool thing to get to do once. And it was, they took us to this island of Anguilla and it was like nothing was there. And I remember they like shipped in chicken nuggets for me because at the time I was such a picky eater and I didn't eat healthy at all. And they shipped in a huge silver platter of chicken nuggets because it was like my birthday while I was on the show. Like that was neat. But I was the crier. I cried on every episode.
They want that.
They want that. But yeah, and there was, of course, what's interesting is everybody says, well, are reality TV shows scripted and fake? It's not that they're scripted and fake. Nobody told me what to say or do, but what they what they do is they will chop off part of your sentence so that the full context of what you were saying isn't there.
Sure.
So let me tell you one of the most viral moments at the time, like, I think Vine and stuff was still around. I don't know. Actually, maybe that's wrong.
2016.
I don't remember if Vine was Vine 2016. Okay, well, there was a clip of me that went viral because I had said.
I think I'm looking at it right now.
Is it the I will be 100% bangable 100% of the time?
It says coupled star Alex Clark. I'm a virgin, and my 100% bangable quote was taken out of context.
Yeah. So there was
I don't doubt it.
There was a part of the show where I look straight at the camera and I go, I will be 100% bangable 100% of the time. What they cut out is that I said, once I'm married, I will be 100% bangable 100% of the time. And I was so embarrassed that they did that, because then it just looked like I was like whoring out on the show, which wasn't. I was the only girl, me and one other girl. There's one other girl that was waiting till she was married. Me and her, the only girls on the show that demanded to have our own room and not sleep with the guy that we had been coupled with. Like, so I could not have been more
I'm surprised they honored that request, to be honest.
I know, but they did. But like none of that made the show. And so that's the stuff that's fake or frustrating. But for the most part, it was a good experience.
All right. And
so
from there.
But did you feel like a genuine connection with that guy, or is it all kind of for the cameras?
I think I was trying.
You didn't end up with the guy.
No, I didn't end up with
the
anybody.
ending for everyone.
I didn't end up with anybody. I walked away. Like the finale is me being. Sounds fake but real. The finale is me standing on a deserted island and waving away as he flies away in a helicopter, and I don't go with him. So I was like, this isn't going to work out. He was like a single dad, liberal, Chicago. I was like, absolutely not. Like I knew like we weren't a match. But it was fun. It was a good time.
That's
all right.
cool.
All right. We got a $20 super chat here from CJ McLean. Sorry about that, buddy. I wanted to get through that portion first and let Alex tell us her story. She gets to tell us her story. I had no idea about the dating show either. That was 2016?
Yeah.
Okay. It feels like a lifetime
Ancient
ago.
history.
Ancient history. From CJ McLean says, I'm very pro-abortion, safe, legal, rare, but it always blows my mind that people who are pro-abortion don't understand the other side. They can't seem to wrap their heads around the possibility that life begins at conception. Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's also one of those things where for the average person, when they have that debate, I think it's all of the numbers that come into play. People bring science into it and a lot of things, but a lot of people, it's moral grounds, right?
Well, safe, legal, and rare was the platform for abortion rights for a long time, but in recent years, that's been replaced by for any reason, at any point in the pregnancy, even post-birth.
And a lot of people are not necessarily...
And like children are parasites. Like that rhetoric has totally replaced all of that.
Death cult. Death cult. And a lot of that
that's what
is
I
also,
believe it was the entire time, but they were better at hiding it.
It was that it used to be pro-choice, now it's pro-abortion, which are vastly different things depending on how you see it. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started then. There was a big story that came in the news just yesterday as we were going off air. P. Diddy, or Sean Diddy Combs, is facing a major MeToo accusation right now from his ex-girlfriend Cassie, who says that he did a whole lot of very, very bad things that I don't even know if we are allowed to say on air.
The R&B singer you might know from Me and You.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I had like a very dystopian moment where when I read this story, I started humming that song in my head.
While you're reading about all these horrific things he's been accused of, you're like, And
then I got kind of like disgusted with myself just a little bit and had to like take a break and come back to it. It was not pleasant.
So it includes rape, sex trafficking, and domestic violence. Also an accusation that he blew up Kid Cudi's car in 2012 when Cassie started dating him.
For a short period of time,
look,
yes.
That's alleged, but the timing lines up. It's a little too convenient for me.
And in this story, it kind of fits into what we were discussing earlier about dating and in the way that these things go. What the Amber Heard story did to people's trust in our institutions as they relate to stories about
the Amber Heards of the world have ruined the possibility of being believed.
And
what do you mean? I thought every guy wanted a girl that would poop in his bed.
Shockingly, not on my list, but I'm sure there are some. But like these
Your
stories,
old manager might be.
That's right.
These stories are always hard for me to talk about because at the end of the day, you're never going to actually know what happened behind closed doors. And there's a myriad of reasons for all parties to be at least somewhat dishonest in these types of stories. So when it's all said and done, all you can really do is go with your gut instinct. My gut instinct here says he's probably not the greatest guy in the world, as has been, kind of echoed by people that he's worked with in the past.
The entertainment industry is, and like they're all sexual degenerates. It's not surprising that things like this would happen.
Okay, but this is what's juicy to me about this story is that this is not the first time that we have heard about whisperings that P. Diddy was like an absolute psychopath. So if you remember, first of all, Cassie signed his label when she was 19. He was almost 40 in 2005. So there's that interesting part. But also he is Usher's mentor. So he started mentoring Usher when Usher was a really young teenage boy. And he has talked before about how he would go to these wild sex parties with Diddy, that there's stuff that he can't talk about. He always gets very uncomfortable when it's brought up. Now, what happened when Justin Bieber came on the scene? Who was Justin Bieber's mentor? It was Usher. Usher takes this 14, 15-year-old Justin Bieber. He was sending him to spend multiple days with Diddy where nobody knows what happened. He's just like this kid hanging out with this like 40-something-year-old man. Why was that going on? What happened in those visits? There's a lot of mystery, and a lot of people think that Justin Bieber's mental breakdowns have something to do with things that have happened to him while he was being mentored by Usher and then also Diddy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really weird when you think about the timing.
And
of it all.
there was so Linda, who is from Mostly Peaceful Latinas, was going off on Instagram earlier talking about this. She had more than a
talking
few
about
things to say.
P. Diddy's degenerate sex parties.
Let's look at some of what was said here. So this is on there. This was she says everyone in Miami and LA and New York has heard that Diddy what he does behind closed doors. I have a lot to say about this, but she was 19 and he was 39 when he signed her label. She was like a model for Sean John before that. Says when you hear the high value men say they want chicks younger than 25 this is exactly why. He's a mob boss, and Kanye West warned us about him years ago.
What did Kanye say about Diddy?
He said he was a Fed. He accused him of being a Fed because Diddy said something critical of Kanye in the last couple of years, and then Kanye was like, okay, whatever, Fed. So I mean, look, for 80% of the stuff that comes out of Kanye's mouth is like absolute batshit crazy, but I always think like there's some truth to things. And then this is the other thing. Remember that Diddy was married to that woman, Kim Porter.
Yes, and that there was definitely overlap between those relationships.
Yeah, so he was cheating on her for sure. I mean, she said that.
We were on a break.
She has talked about that. She's done interviews about that. But she died, and a lot of people. She just died a couple years ago, and people have a lot of questions about her death as well.
Because they said that she was writing a book too
to expose this.
Well, according to Sean Combs' lawyers, he vehemently denies these outrageous allegations. Cassie's demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail. Despite withdrawing her initial threat, Cassie has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with baseless and outrageous lies, aiming to tarnish Mr. Combs' reputation and seeking a payday.
Wouldn't the lawyers be able to then provide us with documentation? Because there's no way she just said this verbally. There had to have been some type of formal thing issued to his
Pay
lawyers.
me $30 million, or I'm writing a memoir.
I would love it. Like it's in like pasted letters from a magazine.
Yeah, I love that the threat now is I'm going to write a memoir about you. We saw like how much that damaged Justin Timberlake's reputation
he was just out
recently.
He was just out like doing promotion for whatever Trolls 500 or whatever.
That doesn't mean his comment section is going to be anything
the point
but
is
messy.
I think he turned his comments off.
So when now all the articles that are about him going out to promote Trolls whatever says amid crisis with Britney Spears' memoir, he's out promoting this book.
So Diddy was like, I don't want that to happen to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then there was also
includes like she says he forced her to have sex with male prostitutes while he watched.
Yep.
So he has this weird fetish. That doesn't necessarily mean that he forced it on her, but I don't know. Like, there's no way that we can know the truth of the situation. I just think that with a lot of these Me Too stories, these things happen because women have lost the vocabulary to talk about sexual experiences that were denigrating and degrading to their personhood, without citing it as a violation of their consent. Because the consent model for sexual morality has totally taken over all of our discussions about it. When the truth is they chose to do something that in a lot of these situations that felt dehumanizing, that was below their dignity. they're ashamed of it. They don't know who to blame. They blame themselves, but the media and all of their friends are telling them it's someone else's fault. They're not really required to look at their own agency and how they got into that situation. That's really the root of a lot of these Me Too stories.
Yeah. Do you think that a lot of it is also that for us or the average person, our life experience is not ever going to be that of what goes on with these celebrities who are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, have people that work for them. Like a lot of people, like when they watch what was happening with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, they're extrapolating that to mean something for their life. When most of us, it's never going to be our life. So it's weird that we try to find some type of correlation there anyways, because they live a life that is so different from ours.
That's why it's such an injustice that the Me Too movement seeped out of Hollywood, because it was a movement born out of Hollywood. And then
I think it started before then.
Then it went mainstream and people started exposing civilians rather than celebrities.
There was also when rape culture was a huge discussion point around colleges, which was very big before then even. That was a very big issue that people were talking about, and it all kind of comes together. I wonder sometimes when I watch storylines, because I do watch a lot of old Hollywood movies and television, and when you see these storylines about the abusive boss or spouse, how much of it is storytellers telling on themselves, because everyone knows that when you write something, you're oftentimes saying more about your own worldview or your own world experience than you are what you're actually writing, because people write what they know. Now, that's not saying that every writer who wrote about it did something, but they were at least around it or surrounded by it in the industry to be able to write about those type of powerful people. Oh. Yeah, we got a $20 one there?
Got a $20 from Philip Reed. There's a movie being released next year by Focus Entertainment called The American Society of Magical, quote unquote, POC. Can't use the actual word. Supposed to be a comedy movie.
I saw, it's the one with Jeffrey Wright, right? It looked bizarre.
Is there a trailer?
I think there's a trailer. Yeah, I saw a clip on Twitter. It looks bizarre, like fever dream enough that I might watch it.
Okay, so here's something interesting, because I wanted to look it up to see what I was remembering. So when Usher was 14, Diddy moved him to New York to live with him, and
that's already weird.
Usher has said that Diddy took him to orgies and stuff, and Diddy said in an interview with Kevin Hart in 2012, he mentioned about living with Usher when Usher was a child. We used to wake up together, and then he said, I mean, damn, pause. So that moment in that interview, a lot of people speculated, was that Diddy accidentally admitting that he was also having sex with Usher?
I mean, the beginning of that story alone, like moving out a child star to live with you under your mentorship, that's weird just on its face, and that says a lot about the type of stage parents
100%
rent their kids out to Hollywood, that industry. But but was Usher the one saying that happened?
Yeah, so Usher...
And he was saying it not in a way like I was victimized, but like this happened.
Usher said, P. Diddy introduced me to a totally different set of sex. Specifically, there were always girls around. You'd see people in a room having an orgy. He said that he had been with 3 people at one time, and he knew it was wrong, but it worked for me.
And then, he's saying this happened when he was a child.
14 and 15 years old, living with Diddy in New York. That Diddy took him to orgies. I mean, Usher said this in an interview.
He's worth $1 billion. He's got the money to cover up something like this and keep it from getting out.
But you know how a lot of, like, you hear from young men who are sexually abused, and they, at first, like, the way they cope with it is they don't realize it's sexual abuse, or they tell themselves it wasn't. Like, this is so cool. Like, I was 14 and getting to do all this kind of stuff. And then you get a little bit older, and then you're like, that wasn't right. You know what I mean?
I mean, even a lot of adult men still hold on to that, like, narrative about teachers who take advantage of male students.
Well, exactly. So I think it's possible that Usher could have been sexually abused, or even Diddy was facilitating sexual abuse of Usher, and then Usher thought it was like cool for a while, and then now as an adult, maybe thinking back, he's like, I probably wouldn't discuss this in the same way. You know what I mean?
Allegedly. Yeah. We'll just add
allegedly on all of that stuff. And these are the things that, like, there's rumors that are going to circulate for all of these celebrities. Diddy has been known as a ruthless businessman his whole life. Certainly, they made a big deal about him giving all his old record label mates the rights to their music back this year, 20 years after it was actually hugely beneficial to them. So, when you're worth that much money, when you have that much power and influence in the industry, you're going to be able to get away with a lot. I don't know if that's the case in this situation. I think that all of the stories on their own are interesting, but we're never going to really know unless he admits something in open court. And that's the hardest part about talking about these types of stories is at the end of the day, you really never know.
But these are the types of things that typically people do when they are powerful and bored.
Yeah.
I wonder how much stuff like this, because it always changes, but in different ways. So now we don't necessarily live in the age where it's the music mogul that's going to always get in trouble. Now we've got like family YouTube's channels and all of these other ways. People find a way. Human beings. It's not unique to one group. It's unique to people with power and the fact that human beings are imminently corruptible under the right circumstances. We see this in influencers. We see this in Hollywood. It's not unique to that industry. It's just very, very prevalent there because of the amount of money, the amount of power that floats around that industry. And it's sad. And it's sad to see something they were together for a long time. They were together for like 15 years, him and Diddy and Cassie, right? So
on and off
till like 2018.
And in 2018, she says when she attempted to break up with him once and for all that he R-worded her.
Yeah.
In his home. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, everybody didn't want to believe this about R. Kelly either, and
yep. In the chat, James Brighter says Mace can save Diddy. Yes, Mace went on to be a preacher. He's religious and released religious albums after the fact. Harlem World was one of my favorite albums of all time, 1997. Very, very good. So yeah, we'll follow this story as it goes. I do implore everyone that if you do take an interest in these types of stories, read whatever you can for yourself and don't on its face either wholly believe or wholly dismiss everything just based on whatever your biases are, and we all have them. Do your best to read them and find whatever truth you think you can. But it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go to Super Chats.
Andrew Jacobs said PCC is king of the pop culture podcasts. Does that mean politics is queen?
So we're king and queen of the pop culture space.
I love it.
I did see so yesterday Ashley Sinclair's tweeted. She said men should require a permit to have a podcast and women should require one to use Facetune. I very rarely respond to anyone on Twitter. I post my own stuff, but
What'd you say?
I said I am definitely proof of a need for common sense podcast control. There could definitely be some laws put in place to prevent guys like me. Like sometimes, there are times where I just think about like tweeting Tim, like, who the hell allowed me to have this podcast anyways? Why would you let me do that?
Shane H. Wilder said, congrats on 75K. I'll have something in honor of that for you guys tomorrow.
Ooh.
No, putting cats in random movies for Mary this morning does not count.
Okay, so he made a video because we've watched a couple of trailers and movies lately that have had cats in them. And one way to win Mary's heart is to put cats in your movies.
Put a baby cat in it.
Put a baby cat in it. Make it lame. Make it lame. So he did a thing where he put a bunch of cats in various movie scenes, but I do not know if we would catch copyright for that, so I'm not going to put it on screen. Yeah. But yeah, he put it was the scene where it was the scene in Mission Impossible where Tom Cruise rappels down like this, and he's inches from the ground, and then it goes to the wide shot, and there's just a cat on the ground. It's great. Have you ever seen Owl Kitty, the guy who puts his cat in like movie scenes?
No, I've never seen any of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so he remade Titanic, but with a cat.
Yes.
Oh, so
instead
good.
of Rose.
Instead of Leo. I think.
Really?
I think it was maybe it was Rose.
Yeah, I think it was Rose.
Okay. Yeah.
I've always said Rose was a floozy.
Well, they could have both, they could both fit on a door.
No, I think they proved that later that they could definitely have both fit on the door. Somebody did say if Titanic was a tweet and it says, here's the story about that time I cheated on a cruise.
Yeah, literally. Quite Blackfield said, we are very close to episode 500, guys. America needs Brett's body count on record. Let's go.
They're never going to get that many. I don't remember how many crisis parties.
We said 30 crisis parties for Brett's body count.
In one episode?
That's the wager you chose.
Was it 30?
Yes.
I felt like I made it higher than that.
It was 30.
Somebody confirmed for me that it's actually 30. I'm gonna have to
check your notes.
Check my notes.
Joe Watlin said, "Love you guys and gals. Thank you for all your hard work. Here's a lucky number 7."
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have this here. If you've never seen this, I don't think we can listen to it with audio. But here's Owl Kitty.
So you want to go to a real party?
See, I would watch this.
I'll mute it once we get to the song.
I figure life's a gift, and I don't intend on wasting it.
Glad to miss.
Got everything I need right here.
It looks good.
It's Homeward Bound vibes.
Oh.
No!
I have to mute it because Celine Dion just kicks in.
That's way more realistic than I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
It looks really
It
good.
totally
How
looks
does he
good.
do this?
No!
I love it.
Draw me like one of your French cats. Incredible. I'd watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember when people were doing the challenge where they were spinning their pets around and people said stop doing that because it's bad for the pets? It was like it was like to a Taylor Swift song. It was like main character. It was like main character moment, and it's a person being
Just terrifying their animals.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of people selfishly terrifying their pets.
Matthew Dixon said Alex Clark is wifey material.
Thank you.
There you go.
Send in husband applications.
Let's do one more and then we'll move on.
High Vulture 75 said congratulations on 75K to you, Brett and Mary, and 2 best journalists of pop culture.
Stop slurring. Stop using slurs for us. We are not journalists. I would never be something so egregious. Please don't do that.
No.
All right, guys, let's move on. So, guys, Pink is in the news. If you don't know who Pink is, she's a pop star
I understand
that hasn't
why.
been. Yes, it's been a long time since Pink has been relevant.
We've got scurvy.
I cannot stand this woman.
Okay, so Pink is in the news because she is pushing back on the book bans that are going on in Florida by arguing with people on Twitter, and now she is handing out thousands of banned books at her concerts.
She said, books have held a special joy from me from the time I was a child. That's why I'm unwilling to stand by and watch while books are banned by schools. She's specifically talking about the Florida school district and using this as an opportunity to start beef with Ron DeSantis. So at her tour, she's going to be giving out copies of The Family Book by Todd Parr, The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman, Beloved by Toni Morrison, and Girls Who Code. I
noticed no
on the
gender
list.
queer on there.
I don't know
this
what
is the
these
thing.
are
I'm
about.
so sick of this. Like, this is how you know these people are so stupid. Is that DeSantis is only trying to ban porn from schools. That is it. So I would just like her to stand on stage then and open up one of these books that's like how to, perform oral sex and all this kind of stuff, where to find gay sex that they're having, that are in these kids' books, alleged kids' books. I'd love her to stand on stage and read that and be like, yeah, this is what should be in our schools. Number one. 2, I'm convinced that Pink is just salty because the only people who are still listening to her are in dentist offices. Nobody is listening to Pink anymore besides that. I hear her in the grocery. I hear her in a dentist office. Nowhere else.
This is my favorite. So here's the picture that NPR used of her. This is why Breitbart is hilarious. Here's the picture Breitbart used. And
wait, where is it?
Hold on. And there.
Oh, sweaty.
She just looks very, very upset right there.
So she got owned by the community notes on Twitter because she posted a fake list of books that are banned in Florida school district, including A Wrinkle in Time, Diary of Anne Frank, The Fault in Our Stars, things like this. I highly doubt
The Fault in Our Stars
that those are on the list. And the community note says this list has been proven incorrect. These books are not banned in Florida. In fact, some are on Florida's required reading list.
Diary of Anne Frank. Stop.
Yeah.
Also, you know what Justin Bieber says about Anne Frank? She was a believer.
She would have been a believer.
Yeah, would have been a believer.
I believe that.
I believe it.
I believe
it.
There is a list that's attached of from PEN America, an index of book bans that has like a list of schools where some of these books are banned, like by school district. But that's not necessarily, it's gender queers on here and these other books that we all know were banned for very, very different reasons.
If you want to do a community service, go to your public library and take out all of these books that push gender propaganda and sexuality on kids and also race propaganda and just never return them.
Somebody else also posted so look at this one. I think you're confusing Florida with California. To Kill a Mockingbird. Other books banned from California over racism concerns.
Okay, but do you guys not remember a couple years ago, it was the left who wanted to ban Dr. Seuss? It's not the right that has historically been behind book bans. It's been the left.
Those they also like to change. It's not banning necessarily. It's that they have changes made to the books, right? So is that somehow different if you get to change the heart of the work because you think that it doesn't meet your moral sensibilities?
Right.
But this is why they win, because they are always more fervent, right? So the right was mad about Dr. Seuss for like a month with the attention span of a child. They were mad. They complained, and then the left organizes and wins because of things like this. Because you have Pink pushing this idea out to gazillions of people. She does have tons of followers on Twitter, even if nobody listens to her unless they're in a dentist's office anymore, right? So yes, people got mad. They also got mad when they changed the language in James Bond books because there was descriptions of people's racial characteristics that they found to be offensive and terms for racial groups that they found offensive because they were written back in the 60s.
Well, To Kill a Mockingbird obviously is written from a perspective that condemns the racism that it depicts, but simply because it has the N-word in it or what's the other one? Huckleberry Finn.
They'll never. I don't know if they'll ever do this to movies. I just watched.
They do though.
They do
like
it.
on Disney Plus. Yeah. They give disclaimers on movies
like Peter Pan,
or even Aladdin for being culturally insensitive. Or Gone with the Wind is another one.
That's a Disney again. That's Disney. I was rewatching. I watched American Gangster the other day, and there's a character that has a very, very cruel term for a Jewish person that uses against the Richie Roberts character in that movie. And I was just thinking, because I was watching it on a streaming service, I said, it won't be long before that word is changed, even though in the movie it's used to make you realize that this guy who says it is an absolute piece of shit, right? He says it because he's a bad person.
It's more insidious because they'll go back and edit it without notifying anyone that they did that and just make everyone think that the original work never included that phrase.
Yeah.
They've been doing that for a while now.
The problem is like when they would do it with characters like that, it was designed to actually show you that this person is not a good person, which can actually change the context of the story later if they change it and suddenly the language is softened and this guy doesn't look as awful as he's meant to look when he used that slur. That was the point. But it's also, I wonder with these celebrities, I do ask the question, like how much of it is rabid political activism and how much of it is just being uninformed. I think the average person gives them the benefit of the doubt and says they're uninformed.
But if you're going to be outspoken on political issues, be informed.
Yep.
Right?
You have to know.
They also signed that petition, that open letter about book bans. People like Ariana Grande and Gabrielle Union were on it.
Again,
they don't know what these letters say. They just tell their team to put their name on things that make them look good.
And like, all the parents that are taking those books that are on the book ban list or whatever, they're reading them at the school board meetings and the school board is like, oh, you cannot be reading this. This is inappropriate. And they're like, then why are you allowing it in the school?
Yeah. There was also pictures that were posted of like Barnes and Nobles that say like banned books for sale. And somebody's like, how do you sell banned books?
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
I just don't think that middle schoolers should be required to read erotica.
Well, they're not being. The thing is, they're not saying, they're like, well, they're not required to read it, but it's in the libraries, right?
I had extracurricular classes that required me to read books that were sexually explicit to the extreme when I was like 13 years old.
You had to?
Yeah, and not inside my schools because I went to conservative religious schools. But when I did anything extracurricular, if I took an extra class during the summer, that was in it.
Like what? Like what books?
Oh, I don't remember exactly. But they
just gave you Hustler magazines and were like, here,
they
read
just
this?
assigned these grad students or whomever to lead these classes, create required reading lists for us.
In the chat,
most of the kids weren't doing the reading, but I did it, and I noticed that they were pushing sexuality onto us.
In the chat, Zach says Ron DeSantis should ban high heels.
Or maybe he can get the leg lengthening.
He lost the short vote by wearing those by wearing the pumps. He lost the short vote.
But
I just
Look, Brett, those were off the rack Lucchese's. If you didn't notice that, I don't know what to say.
He's sticking it to everyone who's complaining about his height. Do you think that this is another sign of proof that the conservatives don't realize how important these pop culture figures are because of the reach that even somebody who hasn't been as relevant as Pink lately can reach a lot of people?
Someone on Pink's team was like, you'll be relevant again if you do this political activism.
Yeah, that's the thing. When we talk about celebrities being misinformed about these political activist statements they make, I think they are being told this will be good for you, like good press for you. And they're giving them bad information.
Which is insane because decades ago, it was generally understood that you kept these things private because it was naturally divisive and it was going to always shrink your audience. Right. Always. You were always better. What is the famous quote from Michael Jordan that I think has later been said that was misquoted? Said Republicans buy sneakers too.
He said that?
Yeah. I mean, I've been told several times that maybe that was misreported. But
that's why Taylor Swift's dad
it could be apocryphal, but I'm not sure.
Taylor Swift's dad in her documentary, Miss Americana, was telling her, like, if you become politically outspoken as a Democrat, encouraging your fans to vote Democrat, you're going to be alienating people in your audience that don't agree with you.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. The Rock was just on Rogan and
we talked about that yesterday.
You did? About how he said, like, yeah, I don't know, nobody's voting for Joe. It's like they're just voting with the party. But yeah, I don't have any celebrity friends that like Joe Biden.
But he does have the celebrity friends that support Trump that don't have the balls to come out publicly and say so.
Yep.
It says, Michael said, Republicans buy sneakers too. So that is a quote. He was talking. He came back and
I don't know what you're talking about. I wear wooden Dutch shoes.
Well,
kidding. I wear off the rack Lucchese's.
Perfect. That's exactly right. I don't know. The book ban thing is kind of a depressing topic because both sides are now starting to decry censorship. The right has been decrying censorship for quite a few years now, but this is a disingenuous attempt to talk about censorship as if they haven't been pro-censorship for years on that side of the aisle.
Yeah, they're always pro-censorship for any other opinion. So it's just like ridiculous. They're trying to say conservatives want to censor everybody. Like that's historically just not true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Have you talked about celebrities making their statements about Israel and Palestine recently, or kind of stayed away from that?
What have I said? I don't think I have talked too much about it, about celebrities making statements, but I did think it was interesting that who's the IDF actress?
Gal Gadot.
Yeah, her whole thing, like she was gonna like make everybody watch a screening, like she was gonna grab a bunch of celebrities. No, she put together a screening of just like rapes and beheadings.
No, we like, and then
and
there
was gonna force celebrities to watch it.
And there was a mass brawl outside of the event.
Was there?
Yes. Yeah, there was.
I did not see that.
But she wasn't there.
She put together the screening,
and
but
then
wasn't
she was
at
like
the screening.
out. Now,
She's
see,
like,
that's a little cowardly.
She's like, I'm not going to watch that crap. Are you kidding me? But Phil made a good point. He's like, that's a very dangerous place at that time with the pro-Palestinian stuff going on.
That's true.
That it was a very dangerous place for a high security risk like hers, somebody with the high visibility to be in public with all of the attacks that were going on.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
So yeah, I don't envy all the celebrities right now who are being forced to pretend like they have strong opinions on something they probably don't all have very, very strong opinions on.
They have strong opinions about wanting to be liked.
Well, and I think too, the Stranger Things kid, that actor, he spoke out. Yeah, he spoke out in defense of Israel or whatever. It was pro-Israel.
He said Zionism is sexy.
Yeah. That was interesting. I don't know that was just like weird.
It's just cringe.
It's
cringe.
It's like what the hell is going on with society? That's it. Like who? Like, do you think the people making those stickers were like, ugh, I've seen it all now? Like what was the other one? It was Hamas is ISIS.
Yeah.
And it's like,
put that on your laptop and go to college classes.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Bucky Ducky said, return your cart, Mary, you fiend, you devil. Never. Never gonna happen. G. Santoyo said, in LA, you have to be approached by a person with a clipboard at the movie theater. They'll ask you if you want to preview a movie.
Interesting.
I would say yes. Olivia Claire said, why does he sound like Miranda sings? Michael Rappaport.
Does he sound like Miranda sings?
He does kind of do that same accent that
okay.
she would put on.
Let's do one more and then we'll move on.
Marcos said, congrats on 75K subs.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are it's kind of crazy. That's been like I said, the show will be 2 years old on December 2nd.
Wow.
So it's good times, guys. All right, let's move on. What is going on, Mary?
A rumor came out earlier today, Alex informed me of this, that Taylor Swift is expecting a proposal from her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, by either Christmas or her birthday, which is in next month. And it hasn't been that long. So people are talking about the possibility of her getting married, settling down, and starting a family. And they're wondering, is this going to prompt her millions of fans to do the same? Because they tend to mimic everything that she does in her personal life. They fantasize about being her. They live vicariously through her. At least that's my theory. So would Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce starting a family cause a baby boom in this country?
Yes.
You believe this?
I absolutely believe it. And also people that are like, I don't care about this. I'm sick of talking about it. You should care and be excited about this relationship because the Taylor Swift Travis Kelce relationship is bringing masculinity back. It has brought masculinity back because what we've had is for the last couple generations are a bunch of young women who are pumped up on birth control so they can't distinguish like what they're actually attracted to. And then, this is scientifically proven that on birth control, you're more attracted to more feminine men and all this kind of stuff. I think Taylor Swift ditched her birth control and I think she met Travis Kelce and was like, hell yes, what have I been doing with these beta bitch, sickly Victorian era looking wimps?
So it was like beer goggles came off
totally
instead of going on.
I think that's
a lot of women talk about this. They are on birth control for sometimes like since they were 13 years old through all of their adolescent years. Thank you. So they go off of it. Their hormones go back to normal. They're functioning again. Their chemistry is back to a healthy point where it should be. And then they're suddenly attracted to masculine men again. So maybe Taylor Swift did that. I for one, believe that Taylor Swift is still on the pill just because she's so dedicated to her career. She probably is contractually obligated not to get pregnant at this point. Like with her tour still going on, I'm sure that she has like clauses in her contract that she cannot be like getting pregnant because it affects her performance.
You think there's a clause?
Yeah, I mean, if it existed for Marilyn Monroe and other stars, there's no reason it doesn't exist now.
Ooh, I never thought about that theory.
They can do morality clauses.
They own you. They own your body. They own
like that.
Everything. Yeah, so Evie Magazine put out this article. Could Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's romance spark a new era of love and family? This begs the question, what will Taylor's next move be? Will women follow suit? And this is because a certain tweet went viral saying, if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have a baby, it will usher in a new American baby boom as millions of 25 to 35-year-old women follow suit. Not far behind will be manufacturing, a housing boom, a tremendous lifestyle shift for millions of newly minted families, a new golden era for America.
Facts.
I think this has the potential to be the single biggest vibe shift in history.
Why are you in disbelief shaking your head?
Okay. All I'm saying is that if it takes a celebrity to get that to happen, what I would find interesting about it is it's almost like you're ignoring the fact that like they mentioned like a housing boom and stuff, right? So is the idea that these women who are working they've got their mid-level marketing job in the city, they've got their roommate, they've got their stable but not growing life until you get older and your income bracket goes higher. Like they're suddenly going to meet some some dude who's like Travis Kelce, I would ask where that's going to happen.
Valid question.
Like if they're not in college, like so there was also an article in Evie that was and again, this is from a guy's perspective, right? Where they're talking about this football player for, I think it was Notre Dame or some college, right?
Yes, I talked about him. Okay. I went crazy viral for saying he was hot. I was so embarrassed.
And what I find funny about this is I was reading this article, I'm like, are conservative women just realizing now that chicks like jocks?
Wait,
that was always a thing.
Who is this
because
football
we have
player?
been rotted. Sam Hartman, hottest man you've ever seen in your life.
I've never seen him, but why is he
Google him
famous right now? Like, what did he do?
Everyone's talking about how hot he is because I made a short that I thought was like going to be a blip on the radar, and it has like freaking 60 million views. And so then everybody now is talking about Sam Hartman.
So we've been spending the last 20 years trying to figure out what the hell's going on with the problems with the sexes, declining birth rates, like stagnant wages, and all it takes is Taylor Swift to get knocked up by a jock, and suddenly America's right back on track.
How are you not on board? How are you not on board?
I'm not saying I'm not on board. I'm saying I'm skeptical that it would have the effect that you're saying.
How are you skeptical? Because everywhere she has been on the Eras Tour, the economy has just exploded. It has been her Eras Tour has like single-handedly helped the economy. It's been the only thing really all year.
Well, I mean, I think Brett's point is if we need a celebrity to lead women's lifestyle choices in a better direction, it's like there's already no hope.
Well, true, but it is what it is.
Then, what the hell do you do when she gets divorced?
I can't talk about it.
According to the likelihood of celebrities staying married.
Well, let me tell you what my biggest concern
likely.
is. Yeah. My biggest concern with them is that, so she's at the peak of her career, and pop stars, it's not like it's amazing, but you can be a pop star for your whole life, basically till you die. I mean, Madonna's still going at it. Cher's still going at it. So like her career, there's not really an end point yet on Taylor Swift's career, right? Travis Kelce, however, being, a superstar in the NFL, typically they retire in their 30s. He only has like a few years left, essentially. And so what's going to happen to him mentally and emotionally going through, saying goodbye to the best time of his life, a career that he loves. And I'm not saying he's never going to be anything again. He'll probably transition to being a commentator with ESPN or something. Right. But essentially, he will go from them being equals in their relationship, both at the top of their game in their respective fields, to he's like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life kind of thing. And that's going to be a huge hardship that I wonder if either of them have thought about while they're still in this honeymoon phase. Because that's in a couple years.
It's very well documented that athletes struggle once they leave professional sports because of all the discipline it takes to do while you're doing it. That transition over to essentially civilian life is very, very difficult for a lot of them. Especially, he's done pretty well. Granted, I'm not I just know that the dude has monetized his name and likeness very, very well.
To Pfizer and Bud Light.
With brand deals and podcasts and other such shows. He seems to be more business oriented than somebody who's a fly-by-night who isn't going to save his money and do well. But I do think it both kind of proves our point about the importance of pop culture, even if conservatives pretend like it isn't, and makes me a little bit sad that it would take a celebrity like Taylor Swift to get women to turn around on the idea of marriage. It just makes me a
and then
little
what
bit sad.
happens to the idea that men should lead the charge on things like this?
Like as alpha male as he is, she's still like, so is the idea here that they're going to be willing to now settle down with strong alpha male personalities who make less money than them? Because in it's never going to be in effect a thing for her relationship, because she's always going to out earn whoever she's with because she's so wealthy. But in most relationships, women look for men to be the breadwinners.
That's true. But you know what's a different dynamic, a little bit of a shift for her historically with her different relationships, is that every guy she's been with, at least pieces of the puzzle that we're able to put together as a public, obviously, the reality could be different, but from the public side, it seems like she has pursued every guy she's been with. So like
aggressively, psychotically.
Well, I don't know about that, but like she's been at the Met Gala and like hit on them. You know what I mean? Like she has in her music talked about, like, it seems to me like she makes the first move, where Travis, he pursued her. He had a crush on her. He went to her concert. He was hoping to meet her. He made a friendship bracelet, which is like an inside joke with her fandom that you trade friendship bracelets that you make at the show.
I'm not gonna lie, that gives me the ick.
No, Mary!
Continue.
He puts his phone. Did you all not know this?
I knew about the bracelet
Okay.
thing.
Did you know this?
I didn't know this.
Okay, so he makes a friendship bracelet and with beads puts his phone number on there, and he had a plan that he was going to give it to her in person. What he didn't know is that at this tour, compared to her other one, she doesn't do meet and greets before and after because she's singing for like 24 hours straight, and so she can't, use her voice or waste her voice or whatever. So she doesn't do meet and greets. So he didn't get to meet her, and he says on his podcast, I had a friendship bracelet I wanted to give her with my phone number on it. I'm kind of sad. She hears about it. She thinks that's so cute that he pursued her, and so she has her team reach out and is like, hey, like, Taylor thought that was really cute. Like, let's meet up, let's go to dinner or whatever. And so that's how it got started. But she never has had a man act like a man. She's, dating Harry Styles and stuff, who wears dresses and paints his nails. Like, this is so different. And then what I'm seeing, because I'm in the Swiftie fandom, are all these girls on TikTok and Twitter, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, I'm feeling things for a football player and the manly men again. Like, I didn't know, like, I would think a guy like this, like a jock, was so hot. It's true. Gen Z girls, like young girls, they're into these little beta boys. This is a culture shift, this relationship.
So you think that because Taylor's, we talked about it yesterday, the demographic breakdown of Taylor Swift audience, which is still heavily millennial,
and white and liberal.
No, it was what, 50? We looked at it. Yeah, we looked at it yesterday. It wasn't actually like it was
exactly.
more. It was more even than I was surprised by it. Let me see if I can figure it out.
But she's
here.
like
55% are Democrat, 23% Republican, and 23% are independent. 45% of her audience are millennials, 23% are baby boomers, 21% are Gen X, and 11% are Gen Z. So you need to get that Gen Z.
But that Gen Z
up.
audience is making all of the TikToks and the posts that you're seeing, so it's overrepresenting
That's true.
the amount that makes up her fan base.
Yeah.
But I said that I think all of these girls are living vicariously through Taylor Swift's dating life because dating is so depressing now that they would rather like live in that fantasy world.
Yeah, I
it's like a perfect rom-com.
I don't know if it translates. We do a lot now because of social media and because of the way we consume content nowadays. Celebrities, we're looking at them kind of through a looking glass, right? And I think what ends up happening more than anything is it turns into a spectator sport more than actually influencing them and their dating choices. I could be wrong, but what I think would be a downside is they're like, okay, but she has this guy who comes to her concert and gives her a friendship bracelet. I got to get my ass on these lame apps and then be disappointed by a bunch of people on these dating apps. I think reality ends up being a little bit harder to, hits them a little bit harder than the fantasy of her life, which is still heavily curated and created by a social media team and a bunch of people who love her and want to portray her in the best light possible. And I think that type of reality might actually hurt more than they realize if it ends up happening. Though I would love to see the birth rates go up and to see all of these women find true happiness. I just think that the real world is a little bit more in the middle.
Right.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think that these girls in her like Gen Z audience though would have a much easier time actually finding love than Taylor Swift because they're younger, they don't have as much baggage attached, they don't have fame, they don't
a gazillion
have
dollar
a
tour.
gazillion dollars.
Well, a gazillion dollars worth of commitments with work and
commitments
stuff like that.
and everything. So they actually, without knowing it, have better chances of finding love and finding a traditional masculine guy than she would.
There is 20 years, 30 years of propaganda to telling them that him holding a door for her and walking on the right side of the street is bad. There's 20 to 30 years, if not more, of college level collegiate feminist propaganda telling them that they are strong, independent women that don't need no man.
Woman.
And they don't need help from anyone. And it's almost like it would be their natural instincts that the feminism has been suppressing for so long, fighting against a whole crap ton of indoctrination. As a spectator sport, I find it kind of interesting.
Well, you know
but
what?
That's a little bit nihilistic.
I was reminded of how much Taylor and Travis is like, it is like exact copy of the Beckhams.
We got a $20 super chat here from Joshua French. Says, I was listening and thought I heard Jackie from That 70s Show. To my surprise, a smarter and more beautiful version is on.
Do you get that comparison a lot?
My entire life have been told I sound like Mila Kunis.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it's really funny, but it was funny because most people would say, why does she sound like Meg from Family Guy?
Because Meg from Family Guy is played by Mila Kunis.
Is voiced by Mila. So that's what I get most of the time is Meg.
I didn't even know which. I've never watched That 70s Show, so I was like, is that the Laura Prepon character or is that the Mila Kunis character?
It's Mila, but yeah, it's my voice, I guess. So I think it's funny to be called Meg, though.
But he says you're more beautiful anyways. So.
Thank you. Well, I wish.
So they're like the Beckhams, you said?
Yeah. So I don't know. Did you guys see that? It's really good. That really short miniseries on Netflix called The Beckhams. All about.
I heard about it.
His career.
We talked about the clip where
just that viral one where he calls her out about lying about her privilege.
It's a fantastic miniseries, and almost none of it is about their relationship. It is mostly about his soccer career or football career, but there's a little bit about their relationship, and it is exactly like Taylor and Travis. It's like this huge pop star meets athlete, superstar relationship, and the paparazzi and how the public is so obsessed and invested in their relationship. But I mean, they got married. They're still married. I think they definitely hinted there being infidelity at one point when he was in Spain playing. But they've still stayed together, had multiple kids together. I don't know. Maybe Taylor and Travis will kind of be them. I also, during Halloween, I had a theory that they were going to dress as the Beckhams. I thought that we were going to get a picture of them in a famous Beckham outfit, but they didn't ever post what they dressed up as. But he hosted a Halloween costume dinner party at his house that she came to, and they dressed up as something, but they never posted publicly what it was. So I wonder if it was the Beckhams. That was my theory.
Are there any other couples that you see similarities between them?
Definitely not Will and Jada.
No.
My least favorite.
No.
I loathe Will and Jada.
Have you been covering that?
Yeah, I've talked a lot about them and absolutely despise. I think Jada Pinkett Smith is like an evil, evil woman. Like as evil as they get.
I think we're on the same page there.
Yeah. Like horrible person.
She does very good at making people dislike her. She's like a master at that.
But that's the thing that's it infuriates me is like there's so much evidence and the public would totally support Will being like, F her, I'm so over this, like she sucks, this has been the worst marriage ever. Everyone would support him. But he always defends her.
She despises Will because of his inability to do that.
And that's what it is. It's like she crushes him like a bug. So how can we really
blame her? She hates him because he won't step up and be a man and stand up for himself. So
and he still defends her. He just like takes it up the ass every time. She
women hate men they can't respect.
He might have a humiliation kink. That's
maybe.
Like it might be that because I don't understand any man that would put up with that. But she reminds me of Yzma from Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah, I remember that character.
Always plotting.
He recently had a rumor spread about him that he hooked up with Dwayne Martin in a dressing room.
Oh, yeah. And didn't he get very upset about that or something? Or his team?
They denied it, and Jada said, we suing.
Yeah.
We'll see if that goes anywhere.
How do you save this? How do you save the next generation of women then and get everybody married and having kids? If you could solve the problem, if they came to you right now, the new world order that Alex Jones is trying to destroy.
There are going to be stragglers. You can't save everybody.
Yeah. But I mean, by saying that there could be a new baby boom, it admits that there's a crisis beyond just some people. It means that there's a lot. So if there is a crisis, I mean, this happens a lot. We kind of deal with a weirdly two competing narratives that are kind of always at battle, which is that the left, as much as I hate to kind of generalize, when people say death cult, they're not lying. They're saying the world is overpopulated, stop having kids.
Murder kids if you do have
Climate change is going to kill everyone anyways, so don't have kids. And then you have someone like Elon Musk who says, like, we are in a birth collapse. We're in a collapse of birth rates right now. The West is not reproducing. We're under replacement rates time and time again. How do you solve that? Because it can't be solved through policy. It has to be solved through culture.
Yeah, so it is solved through culture. And I just had a guest on the Spillover, my podcast recently, who said a really good quote that I liked. He kept saying truth and time go hand in hand. So like the truth always comes out essentially. And I think Right now, so, Roe was just overturned. The feminist movement essentially has had like a little bit over 50 years to do their little experiment on women and tell us, like, these are the things that are going to make you happy. Have sex like a man. Don't get married. If you do want to have a family, put your career first over that family. Have your family later. Attempt to have children in your 30s, 40s, as opposed to earlier. Or don't get married at all, et cetera, et cetera. Be promiscuous. Get on birth control, which is rotting your mind and your body. All of this stuff. Now we've given them 50 years to try this experiment. It has obviously failed.
Happiness rates have plummeted.
Yeah, like anxiety, depression skyrocketed. You have all of these now. So my generation, the millennial generation, the girl boss movement was huge. And so all of the millennials who are now hitting their late 30s, early 40s and skipped having a family to pursue a career are all coming out in droves saying this was a mistake. I wish somebody would have talked to me about this. So that's, I think, showing Gen Z, I don't want to make you always look at the generation before you and you're like, well, what mistake did they make? I don't want to do the same thing. And I think they're seeing millennials be really, really unhappy.
Yeah. Do you think that this is the type of thing that can be solved in the next generation?
I don't think that it can be, it's not going to be solved within the next generation, but I think that we're seeing positive steps be taken. Like, we are seeing women totally ditch birth control and stuff. This is apolitical. This is not,
Gen
a
Z women are
conservative
leading
thing.
that charge.
Yes.
I think, like, you're not going to solve the issue in 10 to 20 years, but they're conscientious objectors.
And you're seeing, okay, so here's something interesting. So Seattle, the school district of Seattle, they have noticed this year that they've had 60,000 students not sign up for enroll in public school. They're going to have to close a bunch of different public school campuses in Seattle. They're seeing homeschooling has risen like over 50% in the Seattle area. So what I'm saying is, like, homeschooling is on the rise. Getting out of government schools is going up. People opting maybe not to go to college is going up. I think the pandemic really showed that, like, you don't necessarily need to go. A lot of people just dropped out because of the pandemic and didn't go back. So you have that working for us. Also, I've been talking a lot about this, and the spillover is when it comes to healthcare for women and stuff, like as far as like labor and delivery, birth, home birth, staying out of the hospital system that lies to women about what's best, and kind of putting like their needs, like doctors putting their schedules above women and telling you, like, we're going to induce you, we want you to have your baby now, blah, blah, all this stuff. Basically, women, what I'm trying to say is that women are waking up to a whole bunch of lies that we have been told, and most of those go hand in hand with a more conservative leaning lifestyle. And so Gen Z is noticing this stuff, but all of this is cultural, none of it is political. And so that's why I'm like, well, we see a lot of young women saying, I'm going to vote Democrat, and yet their eyes are being opened to all these cultural lies. So my thing, and this is what I told Charlie Kirk on his show recently, was that if we keep focusing and hammering all these cultural lies that women have been told, and we leave politics out of it, we just say, well, was this true? Did this end up being true that you were told by the feminists? No. Was this true? No. This true? When they realize that all of that stuff was a lie, they will have no choice but to say, well, what else have I told that's a lie? That's when they start to get red pilled and start to understand
if you want to call
conservative.
It that, yeah.
Well, yeah, not in that
Yes.
sense, not the dating sense.
I think that's going to be very hard institutionally. Just look, I think a big red flag right now is women's sports and the inability to get biological men out of their spaces.
That's true. We're failing on that.
There's an issue with, I guess, but that goes hand in hand. Like, what the issues you're talking about are personal ones, but as soon as other people get involved,
if
and
it's
you start
institutional,
to deal with, it's institutional, and then it leans into the agreeable nature that women have.
Yep.
It'll be easier to change your own behavior than to change behavior that involves the presence of others, because women tend to fall on that more agreeable scale right there. So let's hope that we can make some changes in society. I would like to see that, because I would like to be around, my whole life. I don't want the world to end while I'm still alive. I'm just saying, I'd like to make it the whole way through. All right, guys. Before we go, we've got super chats. We've got a
lot to get through.
Let's get through the super chats.
Yeah. Okay. Bucky Ducky said, your first game should be Dark Souls. You should play Dark Souls.
Okay.
Don't do that.
What is it about? What is it about?
Don't do that. It's just really difficult. It's really hard. And it's not fun.
That was a troll.
Oh, okay.
Shane H. Wilder said, we'll play the Alex Jones game over Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's fun for the whole family.
Everyone should
Family
play,
fun. Defeating
everyone
gay
should
frogs.
play so there was really funny. I was reading a tweet the other day that said like Israel Palestine isn't a political issue, and somebody said like it shouldn't be a political issue. Basically, they're talking about their joke is about the humanity of the issue, and so he says, "I dare you to be the first person to bring it up at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I dare you."
Yee.
DCNC said, "Yay, 75K." Bucky Ducky
Thank you.
said, "Mary simping for Jones always."
Well, Mary, do you want to give everyone your Alex Jones impression?
No, you can't. Like,
I can ask.
I'm a pioneer. I'm a human.
She is, and he is.
MB said, "We love Alex Clark."
Thank you, MB.
We do. Thank you. Sir Ranko Productions said, "Congrats, Brett and Mary on 75K. Glad to come back after a week away to see PCC being one step closer to the silver play button."
Oh yeah, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Like slowly, it's like climbing uphill. We'll get there.
Joe Watlin said, "Dang, Alex Clark is fire.
There you go.
They love you."
Thank you.
Sir Ranko Productions said, "Facts don't care about your feelings, but feelings don't care about your facts."
It's so true.
My favorite. I once sent Mary this meme of Ben Shapiro, where they give him a devil's lock and says I didn't care about her facts and she didn't care about my feelings. It's emo Ben Shapiro.
I love that. He would probably think that was
will
funny.
Be the night that I will fall for you. Fear Me It's Bree said, "Alex, love you, mean it, bye, a humble, cute conservative."
Oh, we love our cute conservatives.
So Bree, very early on in this show's iteration, said you need to get Alex Clark on the show.
She was right.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bree.
Chelsea McGuire sent a queen, or no, like a crown emoji and a worm, I think.
It's not a snake.
Yes.
Wait,
No, it's
why
a worm.
why do they give worm emoji?
We're just all worms, you know? Just out here.
Okay.
Is
Don't
this
you
like,
think?
would you still love me if I was a worm?
Yeah, like,
meme?
yeah.
Okay.
Like, we are, like, us girls are worms, you know? What if Mary showed up? What if Mary showed up to do the show and she was a worm? She still could talk and
Would
do
you
the show.
still
but
podcast with me
Would you
if
still
I was a
podcast?
You're a worm. I am not your boyfriend, therefore I don't have to answer this question.
But if she shows up and she's capable of doing the job, she's just small. You know?
I'm a worm.
I think that would be really good for business. Like, people would tune in to see the worm
that
podcast.
would be interesting.
We might have missed this $20 one from Joe Watlin.
Oh.
Let's go Mariners.
I apologize, Joe. Yes. Okay. So I don't have any allegiance to Seattle beyond the fact that I was a huge Ken Griffey Jr. fan growing up. I am from Minnesota, so I'm forced to support and be depressed every time the Twins lose. Sad fact of life.
Still wearing the Mariners hat, though.
Yep.
Bucky Ducky said there is a big difference between banning books and saying this book is not appropriate for children. You can still buy them. They're just not in schools.
Again, and that just means that they're being dishonest with their interpretation of how this is being done.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sorenko Productions said, "Alex, thoughts on Taylor Swift being the Antichrist?"
Now, we asked her beforehand if she wanted to, because we weren't sure if we were going to have time for the fourth topic today. And she says, I saw people asking, are you a Swiftie? You said off air that you are, in fact.
Hardcore. Like,
So
the background of my phone is her and Travis. You probably can't see, but it's her and Travis, like, holding hands. So, yeah, I'm a psycho Swiftie. I will say this, as far as, like, Taylor Swift being the Antichrist, I don't think she's the Antichrist, but I will say it gave me the ick, the whole, that Brazil Jesus Christ the Redeemer statue. They put a Taylor Swift shirt on Jesus today to welcome her to Brazil. That was weird. That was, like, too far for me.
That's weird.
That's, like, a little
I
cringe.
hate that.
Dang, we could have covered that today. That would have been great. I would have loved to hear Mary's in-depth take on on Taylor Swift and blasphemy in the same.
But, like, I mean,
well, there are a lot of people that think she does occult rituals at her shows.
Yeah, that's
she
just
uses
like
witchcraft.
the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I mean, I think that a lot of mainstream celebrities do occult rituals to get fame.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. And I don't know if Taylor Swift herself has done that, but like, I think more than you think have. So I guess if Taylor Swift is the Antichrist, you're like, sign me up for the mark of the beast. Let's go.
No, I wouldn't do that.
We got a $20 super chat here from Tony Guevara. Do you want to read that one?
Probably about me.
That was it. Terrence Rice said, watched the first 30 minutes at 2 times speed to catch up. Now that was a fever dream.
I feel
Yikes.
bad. For
I can't imagine you listening to me that fast.
or me, or like I heard somebody in the chat earlier say that said listening to Brett at 2 times speed is wild. Like, yeah,
I do it every
I
day.
don't blame you. I don't blame. Yeah, when we're done with the show, Mary puts together the timestamps for everything, and then we have to
play
listen.
it in 2 times speed.
Yep, she plays it at 2 times speed
Yep.
to get the timestamps, and I curl into a ball and essentially throw up because of the sound of my voice at 2 times speed. So
get ready, 10 minutes from now.
Goodness.
Shane H. Wilder said, LOL, Surenko with his daily Taylor Swift is the Antichrist reminder. You keep doing you, Surenko. LOL.
We're about 3/4 of the way to a 4th crisis party, guys. Just a heads up.
OrganizedBusinessServices.com said, what do you think about Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro? Now Ben cannot bully college kids than a 34-year-old women.
So, Alex, how do you feel about Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens right now?
Well, I did my biggest live stream ever was what day is it?
I saw
Friday?
you covered it on your channel. I was
I
like,
did.
That's bold.
I didn't really say. I just like covered what was going on because it was just like, you know, the political gods were. I was in their favor because all of this drama dropped like 30 minutes literally before I was going live. So it was like perfect. You know what I mean? When you're like streaming, it's like the best story ever just happens for you to cover. So that was really good timing, and that's now my biggest live stream ever on Real Alex Clark YouTube. But I just said I agree. There's things that I disagree and agree on both of them with, so it's hard. I'm enjoying it looking at it from the drama perspective. Like, I love drama that doesn't involve me, so I'm just enjoying like watching.
Yeah.
I tweeted yesterday, like, has any mom thought to put Ben and Candace in a get along shirt to see if that would work, you know?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Like, you put them in one giant size t-shirt and make them get along.
Well, she's pregnant though, so technically there would be.
You'll need a maternity
That's
size
true.
get along
Maternity
shirt.
size.
Yeah, maternity size.
There's a $20 super chat there from the Ninja from Pop Culture Planet.
Random fact information. AC/DC wrote a special song called Big Gun on Last Action Hero. In my opinion, it's one of their best songs.
I'm gonna watch. I think it was Hulu has Last Action Hero right now. I will probably watch that over the weekend. That and True Lies this weekend will probably be what I watch.
Did you all see Priscilla yet?
I was planning on it. I haven't seen it yet. I
Must
haven't listened to any reviews or anything.
Freaking
yet.
excellent. Loved it. Like, guys
Is it
and
like
girls will
the
like
best rebuttal to the Elvis biopic?
I think so, but it's a different movie because the Elvis biopic with Austin Butler was all about his career, whereas this movie is only about the
Personal
relationship.
life, yeah.
It's only about the personal life, like nothing about the career, and all through Priscilla's perspective, and she, you know, helped on the movie to make sure it was super accurate. But the fashion, I mean, you'll care about this. He won't. The fashion is freaking
The
so
makeup, the
sick.
hair,
The makeup is
it's all
sick. Like,
accurate.
it's so cool. Like, it was, I loved it.
Does it
Sounds like something
paint-
I would have no interest in.
I was surprised that Priscilla herself was involved in it because she to this day is like, she defends his honor. She doesn't paint him out to be this monster.
I think that it doesn't paint him as a monster, but it's a lot more nuanced. He's not just a good guy or a bad guy. He had a bad moments, and they do show bad moments. Like, they show him getting, verbally abusive with her, emotionally manipulative with her, things like that. You know, gaslighting her when he's clearly cheating on her. She finds out, and he's like, you need to be waiting for me at home. Like, I can't help what they report about me in the media, you know, as he's engaged to somebody while he's married to her. Like, all of that was very juicy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
Maybe this weekend. Joshua Derpwing Duck said, providing happiness for men means covering the basic needs. Providing happiness for women involves placating constantly shifting emotional states. This super chatter has a lot of bad experiences with women.
Well, you know, I've had a lot of bad experiences with men. So,
But you're not going to give up hope?
But I'm not giving up hope. No, I want to get married and have babies as soon as, like, you know, God willing.
She's like, I need to find my Travis Kelce right now.
It's true.
Yeah.
Sam Hartman, are you watching? Shane H. Wilder said, who makes a friendship bracelet to ask a girl out?
Well, I mean, you can laugh at his tactics, but I guess
works.
it works. So, like, you know.
It just seems a little juvenile. A lot of things that Taylor does seem juvenile for her age and not age appropriate. She doesn't always act like an adult woman.
No, I think she does. She's like such a, like, insanely successful businesswoman. Like, she's really smart. Remember, she was like the one person to opt out of that. She said no to that FTX whole debacle. She's like the only person to call that in the beginning. Like,
she's good at packaging up.
She's smart, but she is a girl's girl, and she is just like girlhood personified. And so, like, that's what annoys people.
She's packaged girlhood and sold it to you at a premium rate.
Yeah, I'm still suspicious. I bought in. I'm not buying whatever.
Mary is not a Swiftie. I was hoping to
I'm a casual listener.
Okay.
I maybe was a Swiftie back in like the early 2010s.
Do you have a favorite album or not even that?
Her first.
Oh, you're a debut girly?
Yeah.
Not even rep?
Yeah.
Mary is not a rep girly.
I think that reputation is really corny.
Wow. I could listen to you do a whole like dissertation on that. I think that's fascinating.
I'll work on that.
That's really interesting.
Bucky Ducky said, I don't think couple is a good fit for Will and Jada.
Oh yeah, they're not technically together, right? They live separate lives now.
Yeah.
So they're whatever.
They're consciously uncoupled.
They're co-parents.
OrganizedBusinessServices.com said, sorry, I meant can't bully a 34-year-old woman than kids. I don't know what that means.
Well, what was his previous super chat?
About Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens.
Yeah, so you can't, because you can't bully a 34-year-old woman with kids, I guess. It's easier for Ben, they're making a comment on the people Ben debate, on who Ben debates.
Oh, like...
Because he debates like 19-year-olds on college campuses.
Well, Candace does college campus
so does
things.
Candace. Candace, that's that whole viral life's tough, get a helmet thing was her at a
I'm
college
too pregnant
campus.
for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them do. Everybody does.
Yeah. Bucky Ducky said, Dark Souls isn't hard, it just challenges you. Okay, that's not true. I tried it and it's hard. Okay. Gordon Shumway said, we're all worms. I don't know what that means. What is that?
No idea.
I don't know if I want to say that. It's in a different language. I bet only Brett will get this. Do you get this?
I don't get it.
Okay, I'm skipping that.
Unless I'm just not reading it properly in my brain.
Quiet Inari said, here at Applebee's, we believe in a 2-steak solution.
There's yes. Yeah. Perfect.
Quiet Blackpilled said, don't believe this has ever been asked. Mary, which do you care about more, fashion or death?
Ooh.
Death.
Wait, are you a death obsessed, like dark morbid person?
Well, I just have this like pithy line in my bio, like I only care about fashion and death. I care more about death.
Wait, what was it? The person,
I think more about death.
The person who like commented on that, like it was serious.
Oh, there's been a few people
like
that
worry
take
about
it way
you.
too
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
But like,
no,
it's like, literally true. When I think about it, I'm always thinking about clothes and dying. Not in like a morbid, like depressing way, but like what else is there to think about?
No, I'm the exact same. Like, so I just said that on my live stream Wednesday.
Brett, you wouldn't get it.
I said I'm Sylvia Plath coded, and then
I saw that too.
Yeah, like I'm extremely like dark on the inside. I don't know if you're into Enneagram stuff, but I'm an Enneagram 4, so I'm like super dark and emotional.
Enneagram.
Always existential crisis like mode for me. Whenever I travel, I always try to pick a hotel that's haunted if I can. Like I love all the same.
We're right.
Sorry to let you down.
I'm just in a Holiday Inn.
We're not far from the hotel from Blair Witch Project, so we could have. Put you
really?
Up there. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's what I was told last night, and I was hyped.
I'm sure there are plenty of like Harper's Ferry ghosts. I mean, it technically is a ghost town as it is.
Yeah, we could. That's where we should have. We wouldn't do that though because it's kind of run down. So it's like they're not going to put the guests up there unless they. I guess we should start putting like a question, like, do you like haunted hotels? And if they say yes, we'll put them up there.
Yeah, you should.
Quite black-pilled. Iman Vellani shares the same soul as Mary Morgan plus super cute. Said Brett and Mary. What is Alex Clark from 1 to 10?
Oh God.
Is there there's
Why
no
are you
criteria?
asking us this?
There's no criteria given there, so I don't think I can answer. I would need to know what the criteria is for that.
10 as a person.
There you go.
10 as looks. Everything.
No, I'm not a 10. You know what? I will say this. It drives me absolutely insane. Women.
You reacted to the Gorlock clip.
Yes.
I'm a 10.
Yeah, women are incapable of honestly rating themselves on a scale of 1 to 10, and women are too nice. Women lie to other women. Like when they go around the table on the whatever podcast,
it's not
the
nice.
girls lie.
I don't think it's nice. I think most of the time it's actually very much planned. Like there's nothing an evil-minded woman loves more than telling her friend, "Oh, you look fantastic," even if she knows that she doesn't.
But that's the thing. But that's also like when we talk about why it's so important to talk about how men and women are different. Like that softness and that trying to be likable and things that women do. Like that's what makes women special.
It's the meme I always reference where it's like when women meet each other, like, do I look fat? No, of course not. You don't look fat. Guys, do I look fat? Bro, I know 5 fat people and you're 4 of them. That's how guys talk to each other.
Men like women and the dumb things they do.
Well, I will say this. I would die to look like Mary because I have always my whole life, and it's ironic because I have the darkest hair ever, but my whole life I've wanted to be like fair skinned with like white hair.
Okay, my hair
I think
is not,
it's so sick.
You can see my roots, but the skin is real.
Well, I would, if I could pull off like super light hair, I would, but I don't look good with lighter hair, so I dye it dark.
You tried it?
I've had a lot more like highlights. I'm a light brown brunette naturally, but in high school I would do a lot more like blonde highlights. I had huge like blonde chunks in my hair. It was bad.
You could try the front pieces that are bleached.
Yeah.
A lot
Well,
of
I
people
have
doing
my
that.
hair. You can't tell because I have all this dark on in the headphones, but I do have 2 money pieces that are like caramel color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DCNC.
He's like tuning us out.
Well, he has bleached hair too. He just doesn't want to show it. Do you want to show the audience?
I didn't want the bleached hair.
Is this new?
Show it.
No, it's not.
Show the
not
hair.
new. It's just
It
hair.
was a crisis party wager.
Yeah.
He did it on a bet.
It's kind of sick.
It's
kind
grown
of a
out,
moment.
obviously,
it's
but
grown out now,
it looked a lot better when it was like freshly done.
I'm here for it.
It works on him. He's had women swarm him with compliments.
I believe it.
Oh yeah. The nurses at the doctor's office. Tons of compliments. I swear.
DCNC said, gotta say, bunghole wasn't on my PCC episode 495 bingo card.
You're welcome.
Nor mine.
Well,
We're all worms in a bunghole world.
There you go.
Darth Doza said, congratulations on 75K B&M.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bucky Ducky said, marry 20 buckaroos if you go play Dark Souls on Gamermaids. They're playing Dark Souls today?
I don't know if they're actually doing
Cringe.
that
They
today.
should be playing Alex Jones.
They should.
Shane H. Wilder said, have a blessed weekend. See y'all Monday.
There's one more $20 one here from the Ninja from Pop Culture Planet. Says, sorry, this is the last one. That movie was my favorite one as a child. My mother got it for me from Blockbuster when they existed. It was cheaper than renting every 5 days. If you watch it, await my planet's critique.
What movie was from when he was a
I think
child?
he's talking about Last Action Hero. Action Hero. So there's on the weekends when I have more time, I like to watch the old action movies and stuff from when I was a kid. That's how I tend to spend. I go skate and then I come home and I watch old movies.
What about Brave Little Toaster?
No. I watch
Okay.
more.
Little Toaster,
I
I
watch
think I
things with
remember that.
Wesley Snipes and I watch
They
things
were
with
talking
Jason
about
Statham.
the Wiggles and the Doodle Bops yesterday.
Oh,
Do you remember
nice.
those?
Yep.
Brett didn't.
And Booba.
and Booba.
but
That was like crazy.
What year was? I'm older than both of you, so I don't know.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay, I was already too old for that. I was born in '86, so I was.
Damn, you weren't a Wiggles stan.
That's so prime.
Gordon Shumway said Shai Hulud is from Dune. That's
Oh.
what the Freemen call the giant sandworms.
I need to go watch.
Oh.
I need to go rewatch Dune before Dune 2.
That's like such a guy movie. I feel like every guy
I
is like,
couldn't
I love
finish
Dune.
it. I thought
It's
it was
boring. It's so boring. It's not for women.
I'll finish it eventually, but I couldn't do it.
It's a Denis Villeneuve movie, the new one. So I love Denis Villeneuve's work. So I can watch that cinematography all day long.
Okay, nerd.
Thank you.
Tacti Plati, or sorry, Sir Ranko Productions said Memento Mori. Always. Tacti Plati said Breet, take her to Exorcist Stairs in Georgetown.
Oh, that is in DC, right?
Exorcist Stairs?
from the movie. Yeah.
Was that set in Georgetown?
There's a lot of stuff. This is a pretty this area has got a lot of haunted lore. This area out in the woods and stuff like that.
Battlefields.
Yeah, like Civil
things
War
like that.
battlefields and stuff like that.
I haven't seen any ghosts. Except when I look in the mirror.
There you go.
Shane H. Wilder said, the death thoughts are understandable. I actually have a monk-made decade rosary with a skull for the glory be.
Ooh.
Oh,
We are
that's
like
cool.
3/4 of the way to a 5th crisis party. I just thought maybe we'd get to 5 for 75K.
Come
You
on,
never know.
guys.
We're
Come
almost
on.
there.
Do it. Bucky Ducky said, I don't know what they're playing today, but make Dark Souls happen. I don't want to play Dark Souls. It's not fun. It's too difficult.
They should be playing the Alex Jones game.
They
right.
definitely should
They
be.
really should.
Did they get the memo?
I have no idea.
They should be live by now, actually.
There's 2 more. One here from DCNC says, Mary, gotta gas up Miss Clark and tell her you'd rather look like her too.
A worm? No.
I like looking like myself.
Yeah.
Oh, they're playing Smash Bros.
Darth Doza says, anybody who knows what the brave little toaster is deserves $5. Here, have a good weekend all.
Yeah,
Win
that's
for Brave
some
Little Toaster.
culture kino right there. Potatoes for Seamus said, can we get a Mocha Brett 2024 presidential ticket?
First of all, you spelled my name wrong, and I know that that's on purpose, and you guys do that on purpose, but me and that cat will never be in the same room. It is evil, it is awful, it is all that is wrong with humanity. There will be no mocha on this podcast.
Wrong with cat kind.
There's a $20 super chat here from Gordon Shumway. Says, "Let's go!"
Let's
Okay,
go.
so also yesterday they made a point. So we got a couple of super chats at the end of the show, right as we went off the air yesterday, and I went to do what I call a post-credit scene where I cut back from the outro screen and read them. And unfortunately, when Phil unplugged his laptop, he disconnected the mixer over here. It turned off, so I screamed into the mic, and nobody heard anything. It made me look nuts. I was like,
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, that's the worst.
I just realized that the
Yep.
post-credit scene got ruined.
it did.
Bucky Ducky said, let's go. Crisis Party number 5. Shane H. Wilder said it was set in Georgetown. Oh, okay. Grofty said, where are you going?
Now they're doing what they call a hostage party, where they hold us hostage with super chats up until we get out of here. So we are at that 5th crisis party, guys. We're like one more. I don't know if anybody wants to do. Oh, here it is. Sorenko Productions says,
Oh, no.
Gamer maids are smashing right now. So the gamer maids are over there. They are live. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to get that 5th crisis party. And so I don't know if that's going to happen before we hit the outro screen, but we will get a post-credit scene if it goes beforehand. So if anybody wants to put that into effect. Oh, there's one more here from DCNC. He says, don't forget the poll, bucko. Yes, I forgot the poll yesterday, too. Let's end that right now, then. Let's
Is
see what
Taylor
people...
Swift going to get married before the 2024
Well,
election?
they say, with 62% of the vote, they say no.
Oh,
They do not think she's going to get married. Do you?
21%, it's complicated.
yeah.
If you had to put money on it, Alex?
I said no. I was shocked when Demois came out today and said that she's hearing from multiple sources in her camp that Taylor and him are talking engagement, and that he got the blessing from her father already and stuff, and that she's expecting it by her birthday.
I thought they just met the parents.
So the parents are meeting for the first time on Monday Night Football, the Chiefs versus Eagles game, allegedly. And
I saw that.
I don't think that she would get married in the middle of this tour. The tour is going on till like December of 2024. She's got a long time.
Well, she was engaged to Joe Alwyn for like eternity.
dated,
right?
but they weren't engaged. She's never been
They
engaged.
weren't engaged?
Mm-mm. But they
Oh,
dated
okay.
for 6 years.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they could drag that out for a long time.
They could drag it out. I don't know. I don't see it happening,
I don't either.
but I'm invested.
If she gets married, there's a high likelihood of divorce.
Yes.
No.
It's just statistically, like, speaking,
It just makes the most sense.
yeah.
I'm going to stay in my happy romance bubble.
We got some more here, Mary.
Sorenko Productions, DCNC said, oh no, I'm even further. Potatoes for Seamus said, Ann's Frank Hot Dog Stand 2024. Let's
go.
Grofty said one last party. Gordon Shumway said hostage party. High Voltage 75 said hostage time. Bucky Ducky said, Brett, why are you so against being on Gamer Maids?
Bro, when we're done with this podcast, I immediately have to convert video to audio. I have to put up the audio version on Spotify. I then have to edit the segments and get all of that stuff ready so that the segments can go out on YouTube. I get done working usually about 7 7:30, so I just don't have time to be playing video games like you degenerate kids.
He's working.
I've got work to do.
All right, we're done with the super chats for now.
Oh no, we are not. We've got we've got more here down here. There's several more here.
Ninja from Pop Culture Planet said, "I'll give 10 more for someone on the Iron Giants."
I remember that.
Yeah, that's a movie. Yeah. Good movie.
DC&C said, "Hope no one's got anywhere to be."
Also, Derpwing Duck says, "Worthless, brave little toaster fans know."
Yeah, it's a song from the movie.
Okay.
Kay sent $2 without a message.
Speaking of songs from movies, ladies and gentlemen, we will have a review for the Hunger Games movie up tomorrow, and I can't wait for people to be mad at us because we don't hate Rachel Zegler in the movie.
Are they really?
I imagine at least a couple of people.
Is she hot or not?
She what?
Is she hot or not, Rachel Zegler?
She's pretty.
Yeah.
I think she's very attractive.
I think she's pretty.
Yeah. She's I think she has a problem with resting bitch face sometimes that does her no favors, and she has this. I
can relate.
And she has an annoying demeanor when she does her interviews. She's awful as an interview, and
She
she's
can
not
be
good
talented and not a good person.
Exactly.
Are you guys gonna go see the Snow White movie?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
definitely. But it's a long way away now.
Yeah, really long.
I'll have a cane by then.
Seriously.
We got some more here.
Organizedbusinessservices.com said, "I'm giving you guys my beer money."
Thank you. Maybe you need a break from drinking anyways.
Bucky Ducky said, "Wait, Brett works after CCP? This is a job?"
Exactly.
They're shocked.
There's stuff to do.
Potatoes for Seamus said, "Brett is a busy man, even if it is Tuesday."
Stop gaslighting me. I hate it when you guys do that.
This is going in.
Who's in charge
typical
of picking up
hostage
the stripper
party.
money?
We have to pick up the stripper money after every.
If you told me a few years ago that I would be picking up money off the floor after a work day, I would not know what to think.
Yeah.
And I would be like, hey, at least it's not ones.
Gordon Shumway said that was Brett's "get off my lawn" moment.
Get off my lawn.
Ninja from Pop Culture Planet sent us a dancing lemon.
Thank you for the dancing
Thanks.
lemon. And there's a $20 one here from Levi.
Alex, where should I send the friendship bracelet? He has a friendship bracelet.
Cute.
No answer? You got a P.O. box or something that they can send it to?
I don't have a P.O. box, but I will be very impressed if you can figure out the Turning Point USA address and send it there.
There you go. Put in the work, guys.
I'll be very impressed.
You have to be an actual stalker.
Put in the work.
Impress
If you like,
Alex,
these ladies need you to. Okay, so I was actually showing this to Mary earlier. I watched a video. It's one of these street interviews, and the guy asks the girl the question. He's like, "How much should a guy spend on a date?" For because they're waiting for the girls who give the ridiculous answers.
Right.
Like, he needs to spend $10,000 and buy me a Maserati if he even wants to think about having sex with me. The point being that in this thing, she goes, like $60 to $70 and maybe 2 drinks if the date goes well. And it was the most shockingly reasonable answer. And the guy just looks really bummed.
Well, I don't remember where it was I saw it. The average first date in America is costing over $200.
But that's just the way the economy is now. It's $15 at the lowest.
But
for
I think
an
that's
entree.
the problem is I don't think that you should go to dinner on a first date anymore. So I used to be fine with that, but now I'm like, no, let's just go get drinks or whatever, because I've been at too many first dates that are awful and I want out of there and I got to wait for the freaking meal. And then,
That's true.
What is so when does that usually how do you meet these people? When that happens, is there a correlation between how you meet and them going bad?
No, it's been anything and everything. It could be, being set up by mutual friends, dating apps, whatever.
They all seem like, I was talking to someone recently, he said they almost feel like the dating app makes you prejudiced against it because it's just such an uncomfortable way to meet people anyways.
No, it totally is. I honestly, so I have them, I have profiles on them. I have not swiped. I haven't even opened it in probably 5 or 6 months. I just am so, unmotivated to swipe on
It's
there.
not a
It just
human
sucks.
way
It
to
sucks.
find someone. It's just not.
But if you send a friendship bracelet in the mail to the Turning Point address,
It could
maybe
be the
you never
beginning
know.
of a spectacular
and it
love
just
story.
says toaster.
Or worm.
Yeah, worm.
Sir Ranko Productions said, weird.
We didn't even so I made a tweet. I tweeted yesterday about the movie, and I didn't even think to add weird at the end of it. I'm so I always think of the best addition to it right after I hit send, and then I get pissed.
That's why you have an edit button.
I know.
Bucky Ducky said Taco Bell money. Thanks
you
for that.
Oh, thank you.
I ate Taco Bell 3 times this week. Bang Bang Lulu said, here, pick up this too. LOL. Thanks. Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett, we love you.
And then there's a bunch of potatoes and
heart
hearts.
emojis. Yeah. Bang Bang Lulu. Oh, I think we're done.
Are
we done?
Nope.
Nope. DCNC said, oops, I dropped something. Money on the floor.
And we're almost at the 6th crisis party, so this could keep going. We got one more here from Darth Doza. Says, I'm not reading that, but if I did, I'd read it in an Australian accent and say, no, 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 20 for 6.
Nar.
There you go. We're like, I guess.
I'm not reading that.
I'm not reading that. If that's the hostage party, guys, I guess you guys have done your job. You have kept us hostage, which they did a very good job of today. So
we're proud.
We are very. Oh, there's one more here. Bucky Ducky says that's a failure with how you're dating. I've never dated someone I didn't already know. You skip bad first dates that way.
I think that's a good advice. That's why I haven't been. So I'm like, I give up on this. It's horrible.
Do you think it's also that a lot of people have fallen into that not a trap, but it's like when you have like a friendship with someone and then people worry about making it weird if they try to go and do that? Because I've had friends who have like tried to date each other and then they realize it doesn't work and they just go back to being friends.
Oh, that's why if you're like actually friends first, you've got to be really sure.
Yeah.
Really sure before you take that chance. Because if you could ruin everything.
Has that ever happened to you?
No, but I've dated coworkers in the past, which I do not recommend. I regret that because that's also like shitting where you eat, you know?
Not always the best idea, especially if you don't like if drama makes work harder for you.
No,
if it's
awful.
harder to disconnect. There's I think a couple more here at the bottom. Oh yeah, from DCNC. Can you see that one, Mary? I can't do the accent, so you got to do the accent.
Wait, what is that even trying to say?
I have no idea. And then there's one more here.
I don't get it.
One more here from Potatoes for Seamus. We are almost at that 6th crisis party.
Brett, we are proud of you. Let's go.
I don't know what you're proud of me for, but thank you. That is fantastic.
For just existing, okay?
That's very good. It's that I want to be like the women in these movies. I just want to be praised just for existing. Just tell me I'm great, just because I'm alive.
Tell me I'm pretty.
Exactly. All right, guys. Before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and would you subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? We are over 75,000 subscribers, so thank you all so much. And Alex, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me out here to the non-West Virginia area.
Let everyone know where they can find you.
So you can subscribe to The Spillover anywhere you get your podcasts. Real Alex Clark on YouTube or Real Alex Clark on Instagram.
Perfect. Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. I'm very excited that Alex unblocked me on that platform after such a long time. It's great to be on good terms again.
Great to be on good terms. Forgiveness has been had.
It is.
Yes.
Forgiveness
it's a
is
redemption
important.
moment.
Yes. There's a couple more here. One from Quite Black Pill. It says game plan for episode 500.
We have a game plan. It's not really much of a plan. We're just going to chill for like 5 hours.
We're going to do the show as normal. We're going to do the regular show, which usually runs about 2 hours. But then we're going to start at noon. So the show will be the standard 2-hour format till noon. And then after that, we're going to hang out and talk to you guys, answer questions, hang out with the chat until 5 that night as a way of celebrating episode 500.
It's gonna be
I did like I was doing the math the other day, like how many, like getting 75,000 subscribers by episode 495. I think it came out to like 151 subscribers per episode or something
great.
like that, or trying to figure that out. But yeah. All right. There's a couple more here. Potatoes for Seamus just gave me 6 potatoes. So thank you.
So nice.
And then Bucky Ducky says, spill the tea. Why block? Why was Mary blocked?
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know she was blocked till she told me when I came in here. She's like, you blocked me on Twitter. I'm like, I did? I mean, I didn't even know.
That was the first thing I said. Like, hey, why'd you block me?
It was a confrontation. Like she had some body man up here. Like they were all like,
yes!
Thank you guys.
Thank you. So do you want to actually tell him why was she blocked?
Well, she told me what she guessed.
Do you want to like get into it? Like,
I don't care.
Okay, my guess was that. Sorry.
Hold please. Hold please. Thank you, Ian. Go ahead.
My guess was that I made some snarky comment at you a while ago, years ago, when you did the WAP dance on Poplitics.
Yeah.
On the floor. What just happened?
Yikes.
Ghosts.
Okay. Yeah, and that was why you blocked me. But you said you were like on a spree of blocking people. So
That's probably what, yeah. I mean, if that's what it is, that's probably what happened. So
it's nothing personal.
Whenever that trend, like during the pandemic, I think it was, or whatever, where like people were doing the WAP dance all over TikTok, like that's all you saw, I was dropping merch for Poplitics. And so I thought it would be funny, for which I can't dance to save my life, nor would I ever do that seriously. I thought it would be funny for me to like get in on the trend and like do the WAP like super obviously badly. And that was like me promoting my merch, like new merch, like I'm doing the WAP trend, but it was like bad on purpose. Well, then like part of the internet, like it went like kind of mini viral on Twitter and stuff. Like everybody roasted me like, is this your conservatism? You know, like that.
Not
like
your grandma's
waving their cane.
conservatism.
Yeah, like making fun of me like this is not conservative and like she's a whore and like all this. And I was like,
Why is
literally,
everybody so over the top?
it was a satirical video. Like I would never do that seriously. Like I was making fun of the people that were doing it seriously. So then when everybody was like just piling on me, because it was like thousands of people just like in my mentions for weeks, like, what about the WAP? You know, all that. Like I just couldn't stand it. So yeah, anyone that like interacted with it or mentioned me and said like, why are you a hoe? Apologize for your sins. I just blocked them. So her theory was she must have been one of those people. And so I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, I don't know. Like it's like, you know, I'll just like block immediately and then they're gone forever. So I wouldn't have known. But that must be what happened. That's what she thinks.
Your impression of the haters.
That's what I read it like.
Well, it sounded like an old Southern woman.
Apologize, you know?
For your sins, you said.
Yeah, for your internet sins.
Okay.
Are you okay there?
But
Mary?
now Mary has been forgiven.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful moment.
Unlike the rest of them.
Yeah.
Unlike the rest,
I'm above their
they're still in
rest.
block purgatory.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more from Gordon Shumway. Says, let's go! And we did. And then, yeah, and one more from DCNC says, I'm an Aussie, yo. It's just no to me. There
Nar.
you go. Did you do your outro, Mary? I'm
I
already lost. You
did,
did.
I
All
did.
right, guys. If you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram. And so I'm sorry, I have to do this because, yes. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. I will also be live this Saturday on the Salty Nerd podcast from 1 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then I will also be back again on Forge and Anvil's podcast on Sunday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so please go and check those out. If you would like to listen to the audio version of PCC rather than watch it, I don't know why you wouldn't want to watch all this hysteria, but if you like the audio version, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. We've got one more super chat from Derpwing Duck. I don't think I'm going to read that one. Mary, do you want to read that one?
No.
We're going to skip that one. Sorry, it was a little bit rude.
I'll read it.
It's a little bit rude.
But why are you a hoe, Alex? Worms. We just, you know, we
Worms.
just hoe around.
There you go.
That's the answer.
Worms.
No, I'm like, I don't know. Hopefully this conversation has proved I'm the least thing from that. I'm way too awkward and straight, you know, odd to be like on that.
WAP dancing, really. Like actually WAP dancing.
Like actually.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's honestly scary that people saw that and thought that was like serious. 'cause
Like
it was
trying to
so
be
bad.
like sexy.
Yeah, like trying to be sexy in any way.
No.
I don't know. But that's not the adjective that comes to mind, I think, when people describe me. I'm just like, I'm too awkward.
All right, perfect. All right, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. And if you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode on Monday. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
Bye.